All right, good afternoon, everyone. We now resume our council session this afternoon with two important presentations. The first is a proclamation recognizing the 20th anniversary of the Black Rock Center for the Arts, presented by Council Member Rice.
All right, and I'd like to have all of my guests who are joining me from Black Rock, please join me up here, please. The whole crew. As you can see, Germantown travels well. See, there we go. See, this is what happens when you've got the arts. You know, it's strategically placed. It's a beautiful thing. Got some on this side. There you go. So,
we need a little more balance first. Okay.
I want to start off by talking about what Black Rock means to the community. And I want to tell you a personal story because it all harkens back to me in elected office and me in the quasi-city of Germantown. When my wife and I were looking for a place to live, when we were starting our family, and needed to move out of an apartment that we had in Rockville, we were looking all across the county and couldn't find a place that we could afford, even in the area that I grew up in, Silver Spring. And we stumbled upon a nice little quaint neighborhood of Germantown. Now it's interesting because for those who actually know Montgomery County, if you grew up in southern parts of Montgomery County, you really didn't travel up north much. There wasn't a conversation about, oh, let's go to Germantown or let's go to Damascus. That wasn't what happened. It was more, oh, let's go into D.C. or into downtown Silver Spring. And the reality is that was unfortunate because I learned all too quickly about some of the great things that Germantown had to offer. And one of them, as my wife and I looked at places to live, was this beautiful facility that had just been built called Black Rock Center for the Arts. And I'll never forget, the real estate agent told me, they said, look, and your townhome would actually back up right to this beautiful facility called Black Rock Center for the Arts. I said, what's that? And they said, it's this facility that just got built and it's going to have all different kinds of shows and you can take your children there and it'll be beautiful. And plus we have this Germantown Town Center that's being built around it. You have a wonderful library it's going to be phenomenal. And we bought into the dream and the vision. And it's very rare that you actually have dreams and visions that actually come to reality in terms of the way that Black Rock Center for the Arts has. Because it's not just served as a cultural venue and kind of a linchpin for the Up-County region, but it's also served as something more for our community as well. I'll never forget that there was a tragic fire that happened in the borderline of Germantown and Montgomery Village area. And this family lost everything as a result of this fire. It was right before Christmas. And we actually reached out to Black Rock Center for the Arts, and Kathy Matthews will remember this all too well. I said to Kathy, Kathy, we need to ask people to drop off stuff there for this family. And she said, okay, because that's what Black Rock does. And it was amazing to see the outpouring of support from the community. In fact, so much so that I actually had to go and rent a U-Haul truck. We didn't anticipate that we would get as much stuff as we did, and ended up to where it was so much that the family couldn't even take what the community gave. And we ended up giving it to Up-County, to many of our facilities. I think it was Cindy Majane, right? Right, with Germantown Help and others. That's what Black Rock has always meant to our community. And so it's really cool to see that over 20 years that now we have the Up-County Community Hub, this resources hub that's there, that pretty much does this each and every day for members in our community. I was just there a couple of weeks ago where we were giving out computers to those that didn't have it, and also signing them up for the ever important affordable connectivity program so that they could get free internet access as well. It started off as a cultural hub and became something more for the community. And it really says something about Germantown itself. It's why I'm proud to be a part, why I've been so proud to have lived there for 19 years, and then also be a representative of that area for the entire time that I've been not only a council member, but also a state delegate. It's home. And it really is something that means so much. Not just to me and my family, but to every single family that lives there. Germantown has struggled for a very long time to be on the map, to be recognized and supported for being one of the largest areas in this county of people, larger than Rockville, larger than Gaithersburg, Silver Spring in terms of population. And now, we finally see Germantown for what Germantown is. And as that young boy who grew up not knowing anything about Germantown, I'm proud to stand before you as an older man who appreciates and understands all that Germantown has to offer. And so I really want to thank BlackRock for its continued commitment to our community, diversifying its performances and showcases of artists' wares that highlight every single facet of our community. That truly speaks to who we are as a community in Montgomery County and who we should be as a community in this nation and in this world. I'm proud to be a part of the BlackRock family. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our CEO, but did want to acknowledge some great people that we have with us today. Marilyn Balcom was the founding CEO, and it's kind of surreal that Marilyn Balcom will now be coming on as your next District 2 council member. We've got Stacy, yes. We've got Stacy Ornsby, who's the board chair, Lynn Art, who's our legacy CEO, and Katie Hecklinger, who is our current CEO of BlackRock Center for the Arts. But I'm going to start with our founding CEO, Marilyn Balcom, who's going to tell you a little bit about what the vision of BlackRock was. Marilyn.
Thank you, and thank you, Craig, for doing this. This is a very special commemoration, the 20th anniversary. I had the great honor of overseeing the construction and the opening of BlackRock, and I've always said that it was my greatest professional accomplishment. We'll see what happens after next week. but BlackRock, I think the most important thing about the history of BlackRock and the beginning of BlackRock is that it was community-led. It was a ragtag team of community activists who demanded an art center right smack in the middle of our community. And it's been the community that's nurtured it all these years with partnership from the county, the state, and everyone who comes, our sponsors, our donors, and I couldn't be more proud to be part of the long history of BlackRock. So thank you so much.
My name is Lynn Andreas Arndt, and I'm a former CEO of BlackRock Center for the Arts. My tenure falls between that of Marilyn, who, as you know, is the first director, and it was under her, it was her responsibility to help create the vision of BlackRock and its role in the community. And Katie Hecklinger, the current CEO, whose responsibility it is to continue to refine that vision and BlackRock's role going forth. Not an easy thing to do now. I had the privilege of leading BlackRock throughout the COVID shutdowns And there's a little bit of laughter there, but I do, and well-deserved, but it was a privilege. It was a privilege to work with all the people standing behind me. What's interesting is that the group behind me represent the supporters and the board members from the initial board. Some have been on the board for many years, to John Compton leading the board through COVID, and Terry Ormsby taking it forward. What is really unique is that philosophy of BlackRock as a community led by the community. These people are behind me. I thank the council for their support throughout the 20 years, and especially during COVID, because without its support, the board could not have taken action and thought beyond the box and created the Up-County Hub, which now has been duplicated elsewhere. It would have been very hard, to be honest with you, to say no to Grace Rivera Oven and Crystal Carr Townsend, the founders, because they are board members. But the board of an arts organization saw the value and trusted them and created something really unique that has been supported throughout the county. A proclamation is really a symbol. It's a piece of paper, but it's owned by each and every person here, every board member, every staff person, every volunteer, and truly every donor. So it's going to be hung with pride for a job well done, and I thank the council, I thank you, and I thank all these incredible, incredible people, every one of you. It's been an honor to work with you.
Well, good afternoon. Such a time as this. This is an exciting moment to celebrate 20 years of community involvement, collaboration, and partnerships, resilience through difficult times, and an evolution of programming, outreach, and cultural awareness. One of my favorite quotes is by famed author and filmmaker Zora Neale Hurston. And she's quoted as saying, "There are years that ask questions and years that answer." And as I stand here today as the first African American board chair of the BlackRock Center for the Arts, I represent the question and the answer, the importance of diversity and inclusion and representation, not only in board leadership, but within the arts. Through our programs, our education and outreach, BlackRock answers the question of what role does art play in a community? Well, art unites people of different backgrounds and cultures. Art educates and instills appreciation of those differences. And so as we embark upon year 20 and beyond, BlackRock will continue to answer the call to reflect our community's voice, culture, values, education, to execute our mission, to invest in our youth, in our community, not only here in Montgomery County, but beyond our district and county lines. So thank you so much for acknowledging and valuing and honoring the work that BlackRock has done from vision to execution, and for your anticipated continued support in the years to come. I had to put that plug in there. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to a fellow Germantownonian, if that's a word. We just made it up because those of us from Germantown are extremely proud of our hometown. My name is Katie Hecklinger, and I'm the CEO of the amazing BlackRock Center for the Arts. And thank you to the council for inviting us here to celebrate 20 years. A place conceived by and relentlessly supported these last 2 decades by you and the community. A place that is championed by and advocated for by our county and by state representatives who understand the impact of the arts and the cultural mainstay that BlackRock has become to the Up-County. The people in this room, along with our committed partners, membership and patrons, have been vital to the organization. We are grateful to have so many of you with us here today to celebrate the experiences of the last 20 years. And thank you to the past board members and present. Your unwavering support has made the last 2 decades possible. Thank you to our Black Rock staff, many that are back at camp working on Giving Tuesday and hosting Osher University today, for your cultural leadership as we emerge from this pandemic that in the eyes of the arts is way from being over. For those of you who have not been, the center is a vibrant and bright future. It has a critical role to play in the cultural anchor of our distinctively diverse and dynamic community. The Lawn is a host to a myriad of crowds and concerts, film screenings, or even a place to find solitude. But Black Rock is always, always welcoming with an invitation in and to engage. Thanks to the state bond, plans are underway and we are in the initial stages of a revitalized lawn and outdoor stage. And even though we love the Germantown Library, we are very excited not to be mistaken with it in the years to come. Inside, the arts educate, the arts enlighten, the arts spark opportunity and break down barriers. The arts connect people in unique ways. And art happens when performance, movement, a painting, or perhaps a conversation sparks a new idea, forges a shared experience, or conveys a new worldview. Black Rock provides a place to be better in touch with our human experience with each other. The arts in Montgomery County, the arts in the Up County, and the arts in Germantown are essential. We know, all of you, that we are just getting started. We appreciate your continued partnership, solidarity, and support, from the Juneteenth celebrations to our outreach programming in schools, to the exquisite gallery exhibitions, or maybe we'll see you this Saturday at the holiday market. It starts at noon. We have many, many school choirs singing on the outdoor stage, hopefully, if it doesn't rain. If not, we'll sing anyway. But thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you to the council. Thank you for the proclamation. It will be hung with pride, and you'll come visit soon as you'll have more time. Happy anniversary to Black Rock Center for the Arts.
All right, Katie, so as you were speaking and as some of the others were speaking as well, I just wanted to make sure that as the chair of education and culture, I lift up the power of the arts in our community. When I mention the name George Floyd, you automatically envision 2 images. One is, unfortunately, the picture of Derek Chauvin leaning and kneeling on George Floyd's neck. But hopefully the other that you envision is the mural that represented the spirit of what it is that we need to do collectively to make our community a better place. The power of art and culture in our community is transformational. It is inspirational. It is something that truly will help us to enact change. So, the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland proclamation reads, whereas Black Rock Center for the Arts is the cultural and economic anchor of Upper Montgomery County, reflecting, celebrating, and engaging the diversity of our communities through programming and participation at all levels of the organization, and where it is the mission of Black Rock Center for the Arts to bring inspiring performing and visual arts experiences to diverse audiences in a welcoming and intimate setting, creating opportunities for all to explore, celebrate, and engage in the arts. And whereas Black Rock Center for the Arts reaches thousands of people each year with its shows featuring top regional, national, and international talent from the worlds of jazz, blues, go-go, Celtic, funk, world, and bluegrass, and contemporary theater performances for audiences of all ages. Something for everyone. And whereas the center features 2 art galleries providing opportunities for the creative expression of artists and the active engagement of the community through its exhibitions, and by presenting programs and artistic experiences of the highest quality to attract, retain, and grow participation in the arts. And whereas Black Rock Center for the Arts was envisioned and established through a grassroots effort and has been operating at its current location in Germantown since 2002, serving as not only a cultural icon, but a community one as well. Now therefore be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby recognizes and celebrates the 20th anniversary of Black Rock Center for the Arts, presented this 29th day of November in the year 2022, signed by myself and Gabe Albornoz, our council president. Congratulations, Black Rock. I would ask my colleagues if you want to stand, since we have so many people up front, and then we'll take the picture.
All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming. We appreciate it. Just a point of privilege, I had the distinct honor and privilege of serving on the board of the Black Rock Center for the Arts many moons ago as the director of the Recreation Department, and associate myself with all the comments just made. We now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a proclamation recognizing the retirement of the Honorable Judge Patricia Miller by myself, as well as Councilmember Katz and Councilmember Friedson. Patty, if you come forward. Thank you so much, Judge Mitchell. This is an exciting day for all of us here in Montgomery County, and this is near and dear to my team's heart, as you and my incoming Chief of Staff, Beth Schuman, have a very special relationship. But I want to acknowledge a number of people who are in the audience. First, Ms. Mitchell has, Judge Mitchell has here two siblings, Chip and Sherry, and Matt Mitchell and Janet Mitchell. Thank you so much for being here today. We also have her daughter Robin and her son-in-law Brian, and most importantly, her grandchildren, Marin and Braden. So thank you so much for being here today as well. I also want to recognize colleagues from the District Court who have joined us here as well, the Honorable Judge Moffitt, the Honorable Judge Cook, the Honorable Judge Sabat, the Honorable Kutch, the Honorable Judge Gelber, and the Honorable Judge Ferretti. Thank you so much for joining us here as well. So Judge Mitchell has been breaking glass ceilings and really doing so much for our community for so many years. And just as importantly as her time on the bench has been her community engagement. She has been a true leader in building bridges across our county and community in so many different ways. And I have had the honor and privilege of serving on the Public Safety Committee for the last 4 years and saw firsthand the incredible work that our Circuit Court and District Court does every day. There have been unique challenges over these last several years, but we greatly appreciate their sacrifice and their commitment and their partnership with our council for so many years. I now invite two of my colleagues to speak as well, and then we will be hearing from one of our honorable judges, and then we will read the proclamation and hear from the Honorable Judge Mitchell herself. So with that, I now turn it over to the chair of our Public Safety Committee, Councilmember Katz.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And once again, the President has said it all. I mean, obviously, we're extremely pleased that you have been so involved, Judge Mitchell, for so long. And as many people on this side of the room know, no one ever retires. You become senior judges. So, and we're very appreciative of that. We're glad that you're still going to be here. But as the council president mentioned, I have seen you at various meetings. I've been in your courtroom not because I needed to be, but because for various events. And you have always been there for the entire community. And of course, as you know, and many other people know as well, it is so easy to criticize. If many people say, well, let me tell you, if I were a judge, you know what, they wouldn't, because they were not listening to the facts, which you were. People have to realize what a difficult job it is to be fair and impartial. And you have, above all, and there's many other people in this room who do the same, but you, above all, have certainly proven that to be fair and impartial is truly a trait that all of us should have. Congratulations on becoming a senior judge. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Councilmember Cruz.
Well, I'm so touched and honored to be able to join this celebration. We've heard from colleagues talking about Judge Mitchell and her professional career, her trailblazing public service. I know her best in her personal life as a grandmother and a mother, and it's really exciting to be able to be here, not just for all that she has accomplished in her remarkable career, but in why. The family that she has, the loving, remarkable family that she has, and the families throughout Montgomery County that her service has impacted, both as a judge and as a dedicated member of our community, providing her time, her talent to so many different pursuits within Montgomery County. So on a personal level, I'm just so grateful to be part of this celebration of an extraordinary person, a remarkable career of service, and as noted by colleagues, a career that will continue. And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to call you senior, even though it's formally senior judge, but we know that the impact that you will have will continue. We know that your family will continue on in your legacy, and we're just so grateful and appreciative for everything that you've done for Montgomery County and for families throughout our community.
I would like to invite the Honorable Judge Sherry Koch to come forward and make some comments.
We did not do that on purpose, I'm telling you.
We're used to it. Yeah. Thank you. I'm here speaking on behalf of all the judges on district court, and for us, Judge Mitchell has always been and will always be the backbone of district court. She is the person who knows everything about district court and will always continue to know everything about district court. She is the person who we always used to call if we had a question, and guess what? We still always call her if we have a question. She knows everything, and in the rare moments when she doesn't know the answer, in about 10 seconds she can send you a screenshot of the picture in a book of where the answer is. And she does it with grace and kindness and patience, and all of that is the same thing that you would see in the courtroom. And any time that I don't know what to do or how to handle a situation or how to think, and I know my colleagues feel the same way, we all think, how would Judge Mitchell handle this? What would Judge Mitchell do? How would she react in this situation? Because she truly is the backbone and the greatest. So we are not happy that she's retired. We are happy that she is a senior judge. And by senior, that just means the most respected. And we're happy to say that she's still around with us, but we also know that she needs to be with two other very special people in this room, Braden and Marin. So from all of the district court, congratulations. We love you. I've lowered this for you now.
So we will read the proclamation and then hear from Judge Mitchell. All right. Whereas Judge Patricia Mitchell has contributed her legal expertise to Montgomery County for more than 25 years in various positions and is well respected for her authentic and trusted professionalism, her knowledge and application of the law, and her dedication to community by paying it forward in her volunteer and teaching roles. And
whereas Judge Mitchell continuously demonstrates her commitment to public service while breaking barriers by being the first woman appointed administrative judge for Montgomery County and holding the distinction of being the longest serving district court judge. Judge Mitchell's leadership was critical to managing and transitioning hearings throughout the pandemic's emergency closures and the adoption of hybrid and remote hearings. And whereas
Judge Patricia Mitchell is the proud daughter of Judge John Mitchell Sr., former Chief Administrative Judge of the 6th Judicial Court of Maryland. She is a native of our county who attended Montgomery County Public Schools and Montgomery College and has enjoyed a successful legal career in the District Court, the Office of the County Attorney, the Circuit Court, the Office of the Public Defender, the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, and as judge in the 6th District Court of Maryland. And
whereas Judge Mitchell embodies the dedication, passion, and intellectual commitment to the judiciary to which all should strive and which has benefited the judicial branch as well as the residents of Montgomery County. Now therefore be resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby congratulates and extends best wishes for a happy, healthy, and fulfilling retirement to Judge Patricia Mitchell and shares our deepest gratitude for the valuable and long-lasting impact she has made on the residents of Montgomery County. Presented on this 29th day of November in the year 2022, and it's officially signed by myself and Councilmember Katz, but Councilmember Friedson signs it in, yeah. That's right, as well. So with that, let's hear from the woman of the hour herself.
Thank you. Thank you to the council members. Thank you to Judge Koch and all of my other colleagues who have taken their lunchtime to come over here, and my family who is here as a surprise. No one told me that. It is a lucky time for me to be able to share time with my family and time with my colleagues in a retirement. It's not something that I ever anticipated I would be able to do. And it is and has been my great honor to work in a number of different positions of public service and teaching within the county as a product of going all the way back, my goodness, to, as my sister and brother will remember, Garrett Park Cooperative Nursery School in the 1950s, where our teacher, Mrs. Gutenberg, is still alive, not teaching, but she's still here in Montgomery County. And going as far back as that, learning the value of service and learning the value of public service. And honestly, at the time that I finished law school and was trying to decide between which positions to move forward with, private practice, public defender's office, and talked to my dad, and he said, you should go with the public service, he said. In the long run, you'll be richer for it. And he was honestly quite right. And it has been such a wonderful experience to work with the many dedicated, professional, committed public servants that work in the district court and the circuit court and all of the ancillary agencies that I have worked with through my time in the court system. The county agencies, the correctional facility, the public defender's office, the state's attorney's office, parole and probation, through the pandemic, but not just through the pandemic. It's only because of these people and their willingness to work with me that we've been able to productively and successfully grow the court system into something that I hope serves the community and will do so for the future. So I thank everyone who came here, and thank you to the council, President Albornoz, as again to my colleagues and my family for allowing me the opportunity to work with you for so many years.
Let's get a picture. family wants to come up. All right, thank you everybody for those wonderful proclamations and presentations. We now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item number 6, and this is a public hearing regarding expedited bill 3022, buildings demolition or removal. This bill would redefine the term demolish and generally amend the law regarding buildings and building permits. Persons wishing to submit additional material for the council's consideration should do so before the close of business on December 6th. There are no speakers for this public hearing, and so this public hearing is now closed. Which takes us on to the next item on the agenda, which is agenda item number 7. This is a public hearing on expedited bill 3122, Finance Economic Development Fund, Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Technology Transfer, Matching Grant Program. This would alter the administration and eligibility requirements of the Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Technology Transfer Matching Grant Program and generally amend the law regarding the Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Technology Transfer Matching Grant Program and the Economic Development Fund. Persons wishing to submit additional material for the council's consideration should do so before the close of business on December 6th. There are no speakers for this public hearing, and so this public hearing is now closed. That takes us on to agenda item number 8. This is a public hearing on expedited bill 2922, local laws, updates to required numbers of council member votes. This bill would update provisions of county law to reflect the required number of votes due to the expansion of the county council from 9 to 11 members. Persons wishing to submit additional material for the council's consideration should do so before the close of business on December 6th. We do have speakers for this public hearing, and the first public speaker is Ms. Melissa McKenna, who is also speaking to item number 14, and so she will have 4 minutes for her testimony. Ms. McKenna.
Good afternoon. Since item agenda 14 hasn't even been presented yet, may I ask for that time to be deferred? Okay, may I call the second speaker, who is actually the first speaker for this item, please? Paul Geller?
No, actually,
No.
you're there, and we have
Okay.
to keep going. So thank you so much, Ms. McKenna. You have 2 minutes for your testimony.
All right, then we get to do this backwards. Good afternoon. My name is Melissa McKenna. President Albornoz, Vice President Glass, Councilmember Friedson, Hucker, Chawando, Katz, you've all moved around. Navarro, Rice, and Reamer. I'm going to start at the end, unfortunately. So this is based on Paul Geller's remembrance of MASH and the final goodbye, which was goodbye, farewell, and amen. And I get to start with the letter L. Let us not forget Councilmember Rice. For years, you have made it your mission to ensure all our kids in the county, from PK through J, jobs, have had their needs addressed. You even hosted Council Member for a Day competition. You are a mensch, a first-class mensch. With you and Dr. Steve Goldstein, the king of the menches, encouraging us, we were able to advocate for needed improvements both here and in the state. Steve got us the training we needed. He got us the skills that helped us bring more than $147 million so far just in additional school construction funds. We miss Steve as a wonderful human being to all who knew him, especially you. Lastly, Craig, you did something truly extraordinary. Annually, for many years, you held educational budget fora around the county, and I do mean around the county. Rockville, Gaithersburg, Germantown, Silver Spring, Neillsville. This enabled anyone to better understand how our public schools work and feature the presidents of USG and MC as well as the MCPS superintendent. Paul and I were the two only crazy non-staffers to attend every single meeting you held. We were there to learn, to show support for our schools and the community, and to support you. We love your story about attending MCPS yourself, go Blazers, as well as your personal stories you shared about you and your family benefiting from MC in particular. More importantly, we got to see you wear your heart on your sleeve as you explain the importance of quality public education to anyone who would listen. Like that last episode of MASH, well, this is goodbye for some of you. We look forward to seeing what the future holds for each of you. Please keep being humble, dedicated, and driven to serve. Know how much these two advocates will always appreciate all you have done for our public school students. To Council Members Hucker, Navarro, Rice, and Reamer, and you're all in the wrong place. Goodbye, farewell, and amen.
Thank you, Ms. McKenna. Next, we will hear from Paul Geller.
This is a bittersweet occasion for me because I'm really here just to thank four of you in particular. You really made the ultimate sacrifice, and it was not ever meant to be that way. Back in 2016, Melissa McKenna and I started off the Education First budget when a Board of Education member came to us and asked us for $100 million more than was ever asked for before. And we knew it was needed because we had been in the classrooms, we had talked to the teachers, we talked to the staff and the administrators and the kids and their families, and this was desperately needed. And you, Councilmember Reamer, you, Councilmember Hucker, my council member, Navarro, a wonderful human being, and you, Councilmember Rice, you all stepped up to the fore, and when everyone told us it was absolutely impossible to get a unanimous vote at the county council because you cannot exceed maintenance of effort, we didn't listen, and you didn't listen either. You gave us the finest sterling example of what it truly means to be an elected official, and from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. When we were writing testimony for today, the first thing that came to mind was that last episode of MASH. And if any of you have ever seen it, the last scene of that 11-season show is of Hawkeye Pierce on a helicopter and his best friend, BJ Honeycutt, who cannot say adios to his amigo. But he's trying to say something to Hawkeye as the helicopter is departing. He can't understand it, and so Hawkeye says, "Let's go." And all you see is Hawkeye's face, and it changes from like a look of disappointment to a look of relief. Because as the helicopter's lifting off, they show you what was written by BJ in rocks on the ground, and that was goodbye. I thank all four of you in particular for everything you've done, as well as your five colleagues, and of course you too, Councilmember Katz, for everything that you did for our kids. All the best to you. Goodbye, farewell, and amen to all of you.
Thank you both. Very well said. Thank you. And thank you both for your continued advocacy and leadership for really a long time. It's outstanding. It's made a difference. We all appreciate it, and we all look forward to your testimony always. Thank you. All right, we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item number 9. This is a public hearing on the declaration of no further need, disposition via transfer of a portion of the Burtonsville Park and Ride lot located in Burtonsville, Maryland, to First Equity Holdings. Persons wishing to submit additional material for the council's consideration should do so before the close of business on December 6th. There are no speakers for this public hearing. Council Member Hucker. So this public hearing is now closed. Now I turn it over to Councilmember Harker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just quickly, as a point of privilege as the local council member here, I wanted you all who will be here next week to know what a great project this is. This will turn a surface parking lot in Burtonsville into structured parking and needed housing, including a lot of affordable housing, right in Burtonsville. And next to a retail shopping center that is redeveloping and at the terminus of our Flash bus line. I've worked on this issue for many, many years. I really think it's a win-win-win-win because it helps us reach our housing goals. It helps us reach our equity commitment and our commitment to East County in particular. It helps revitalize the businesses that have been hit very hard in Burtonsville and make the Flash bus more viable by putting hundreds of riders right next to the terminus. I really appreciate the support from the county executive and Mr. Assad, who's put a lot of time into this, and I'm very grateful to Delegate Ludke, Senator Zucker, Delegates Kaiser and Queen for their rounding up the state support for this as well. And thank you for Mr. Patterson and First Equity for their willingness to invest in East County. I won't be here next week, so I'm urging you all to continue this commitment and get it across the finish line. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hucker. I think that's a pretty safe bet. We appreciate your leadership on that and so many other issues. We now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is agenda item number 10. This is a public hearing on a declaration of no further need, disposition via transfer of certain properties in the White Flint area located in North Bethesda, Maryland to Stonebridge. Persons wishing to submit additional material for the council's consideration should do so before the close of business on December 6th. There are no speakers for this public hearing, and so this public hearing is now closed. That moves us on to item number 11. This is a public hearing on supplemental appropriation 23-21 to county government's FY23 capital budget and an amendment to the FY23 through 28 capital improvement program for the Department of Correction and Rehabilitation in the amount of $500,000 for Montgomery County Correctional Facility sewer. Action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no speakers for this public hearing, so this public hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion to accept this supplemental appropriation?
So move.
Moved by Councilmember Katz, seconded by Councilmember Rice. This seems like an important one. All those in favor, please raise your hands, and that is unanimous. That takes us on to item number 12. This is a public hearing on a declaration of no further need, a disposition via long-term lease of 14645 Rothgeb Drive, located in Rockville, Maryland, to Casa de Maryland. Action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. Are there any? There are no speakers for this public hearing, and so this public hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion to accept this declaration of no further need? Moved by Councilmember Navarro, seconded by Councilmember Rice. All those in favor, please raise your hands. And that is unanimous among all those present. Which takes us on to item number 13. This is a public hearing on a declaration of no further need, disposition via a transfer of the abandoned portion of Walter Johnson Road located in Germantown, Maryland to Lidl US LLC. Action is also scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no speakers for this public hearing. And, Councilmember Rice. Yeah, let me, this public hearing is now closed. Councilmember Rice.
Thank you very much. And I just wanted to, it's amazing how this ties together. The Council Vice President was saying, did you schedule it this way? I did not, but it's pretty amazing. This is to open up another grocery store in Germantown, providing options to so many of our residents who we know need to have a variety of affordable options of high quality food. We just opened one this past February in the Montgomery Village area. It's much celebrated and very well received by the community. We're looking to do the same thing here, and so I really want to thank the county executive, but also Mr. Assad, who's here. Thank you so much for working with the partners to be able to deliver on something that is so important to the Germantown community. So really just want to echo, just sound off my thanks for this. This is a very big deal for the Germantown area. Thank you, Mr. President.
That's fabulous. All right, that moves us on to agenda item number 14. This is a public...
Sir, we need to vote.
There's an action there. Thank you. Moved by Councilmember Rice, seconded by Councilmember Katz. All those in favor, please raise your hands. And that is unanimous. All right, that moves us on to agenda item number 14. This is a public hearing on a supplemental appropriation to the county government's FY23 operating budget for the Institute of Intelligent and Immersive Computing for Science and Medicine non-departmental account in the amount of $15 million. Action is also scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are speakers for this public hearing, and I'll note Ms. McKenna will invite you at the end of the next 5 speakers. And we start with Tom Lewis, who is here representing the Office of the County Executive.
Mr. President, we need to do a vote on the rules of suspending
Thank
the
you.
rules.
Let me look at my notes. Thank you. I thought it was after, but after the public hearing. I see. Okay. So I'd like to ask for a motion to suspend Council Rules of Procedure Rule 4B, so we may hold a public hearing for this resolution on the same day as it is acted upon. Can I get a motion to suspend Council rules for this procedure? Moved by Councilmember Rice, seconded by Councilmember Friedson. All those in favor, please raise your hands. That is unanimous. So we can now move on to the public hearing. Is that correct? All right. Mr. Lewis, you're on. You have to hit your button.
Thank you. Good afternoon, President Albornoz, Vice President Glass, and members of the council. Thank you for letting me speak today in support of this budget item. This Institute for Health Computing, with its artificial intelligence, machine learning, and virtual reality, is really going to be a transformational step to put Montgomery County really in the top tier of life sciences clusters around this country and around the world. For a number of years, the council and the county executive have had a joint sense that we needed to step up as a county in life sciences. The REACH report recognized that we had a decline in NIH research for a couple of years, and the MCEDC county economic plan recognized that really life science is a core factor for this county to succeed and really progress with its economic future. In the Amazon HQ2 effort, Montgomery County outbid Virginia, but state of Virginia put in $100 million specifically for higher ed in Northern Virginia, and we ended up losing that opportunity. But there may have been multiple factors that had that tipped the balance. But one fact is that Montgomery County is the only life sciences cluster in the top 10 nationally that has no academic research function nearby or in that cluster. This institute, this partnership with the university solves that problem and can move us into the lead position nationally in healthcare, in life science and healthcare computing in the country. Research is moving in a new direction. It's no longer just wet labs. It's really wet lab results with this computational asset that can really accelerate our discoveries, accelerate vaccines, and accelerate our pharmaceuticals. This Computational Research Institute will support the local life sciences companies that are here and draw new ones to the county. Also, it's going to complement and enhance what we have at USG and Montgomery College. And it really is a needed solution to continue to allow us to compete at that top level and really become the top in the country. County administrations and councils have for many years in this county recognized the need for this kind of an academic research function, and I think with this supplemental, with your support, this county council and county executive can take great pride in having finally achieved that and bringing that function to the county. So
thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Next, we will hear from Dr. Mark Gladwin.
Great, thank you so much for having me.
We're having an issue with the mic system. Just you're going to have to hit it a couple of times. There you go. Now it worked. Now it's working.
Does that work now?
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm the Dean of the School of Medicine and Vice President for Medical Affairs. I'm based at University of Maryland, Baltimore, focus on medical and medical research, and I partner with Dr. Amitabh Varshney, who will introduce himself. He's based at College Park. But this new institute, this partnership that we're forming with Montgomery County, will really bring together College Park, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, University of Maryland, Baltimore, very advanced clinical research and basic science research. And then the University of Maryland Medical System, which is the larger provider of hospital-based care in the region. What's going to be really unique is that we will bring both encrypted and highly secure electronic healthcare record data and de-identified data to try to advance population health and bring clinical trials across the 12 hospitals across the state of Maryland. This is going to have a very important impact on our vulnerable populations. We have 2 million patients across the state of Maryland, of which 50% are African American, 10% are Latinx, and these populations are cared for in the communities, and often we miss things like chronic kidney disease, early hypertension, hypertension in pregnancy, risk of substance use disorder, risk of overdose. And by programming here in Montgomery County through the electronic healthcare record, interventions, and we call that population health, or finding cases through real-world evidence, real-world data, we're going to be able to really, from this site, improve the health care for people around the region. There's other sites like the University of California system that's very advanced in this area, and we think this is an opportunity to really propel us forward in that space. So these are very exciting opportunities, and thank you so much for your support.
Thank you so much, Dr. Godwin. And next we will hear from Dr. Varshney.
Good afternoon, County Council President, Vice President, and the Council members. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you about this incredible, thrilling opportunity. About 20 years ago, this county was the birthplace of the human genome. And today we are now at this cusp of a next generation transformation enabled by artificial intelligence, visualization, virtual and augmented reality, and data science. Next door to us at the University of Maryland College Park, I lead the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences. I'm professor of computer science there. And one of the things we have seen is how in College Park we are bringing in over 3,600 undergraduates in computer science, training them and having them be productive members of the society. What this opportunity gives us is an ability to bring that vibrant workforce generation magnet for talent here in Montgomery County. We can not only have access to the world-class talent, we can also have access to a very diverse population. According to lots of rankings, including the diverse issues in higher education, our university is ranked number 3 in the nation in terms of the number of minority students who are graduated in computer information sciences. By bringing that diverse, talented workforce to Montgomery County, we can solve this burgeoning problem of AI and visualization meets life sciences and serve as a huge magnet for talent in this and lead to economic development here. So can't wait to partner with our colleagues in Baltimore as well as Montgomery County to have this be a new hub for life sciences and computing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Varshney. I've got my UMD pin upstairs. Next, we will hear from Matthew Herman.
Thank you, Council President Albornoz and members of the Council. Appreciate the opportunity to testify. Not about 5G this time. I am chairman of the board of directors of the newly established Pike District Partnership. We're the newly created nonprofit to help partner with the county to further the development of North Bethesda. We are in strong support of the supplemental appropriation, and we are broadly strong supporters of this newly signed MOU and this the beginning of this innovation center. It is truly, I think, key to furthering the development and sort of the broader vision that we have for North Bethesda. As Tom mentioned, it is a lesson learned from previous opportunities that we looked at but didn't quite get. Partnership with universities like the Maryland system is really going to be key to driving private industry that wants to partner to pull from that lifeline of workforce, but also to go after other opportunities like landing ARPA-H here in the county, outside of NIH, but within the confines of this county. So this is, I think, an important first step. It's a down payment, if you will, in upholding our end of the bargain from the county and from the community perspective, from the nonprofit, from our work in trying to further the goals of North Bethesda, we are very much in support and appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Next, we will hear from Ms. McKenna. Thank you so much, Ms. McKenna. You once again have 2 minutes for your testimony.
So I recently completed a 10-week business creation class at the Maryland Innovation Center in Howard County. Fantastic program. You can make your dream a reality and a viable business. That's what they teach you. It'd be great to have that sort of thing here. Having been immersed in creating a business model canvas, estimating startup costs, doing market research, creating financial documents, future forecasts for investors, my first thoughts were, where's the business plan? Where's the market research? And why this site? The business plan is an MOU with aspirational language. The market research was released last night by the Office of Racial Equity and Social Justice. Although very thorough, why not an OMB review? As for the site, of course, White Flint. Montgomery County really likes public-private partnerships. Where's the private investment? During the Joint Delegation Priorities hearing on November 15th, State Senator Susan Lee specifically asked why no private investment was being sought. Seems she too is skeptical about relying on additional funds from the state. I believe there are several companies already in the county, AstraZeneca, United Therapeutics, Novavax, that could be financially supportive. There's also another higher educational provider in the county, Johns Hopkins. At the bottom of the list for the goals in years 1 and 2, assess the existing potential partnerships with federal agencies. Seems to me we are putting the cart before the horse. Shouldn't the research be done with private investors first? I have more than a few concerns, but chiefly the expenditures for an operating budget request are actually largely capital expenditures. Accounting 101. The list even says capital expenditures. The lease and ongoing operational expenses encumber a future council. Only 5 of those members are here today. And is this really the role of county government? To fund a research institution? I realize this is an investment in the county. So to recap, capital expenses should not be operating expenses. Where's the financial impact analysis and timeline? All done at the speed of light with no Fed committee or GO committee input, and with how much time for discussion and Q&A. And when I was last running, it was about 8 minutes. Please take the time to really analyze this and secure federal funding and private funding before taking final action. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. That concludes the speakers for this public hearing, and so this public hearing is now closed. I'll just note that the executive branch has provided a number of pieces of information for my colleagues and I, and while it is moving rather quickly, maybe more quickly than our liking, it is true that we have an opportunity before us that is truly unique, and so we appreciate the responses to the questions that we have submitted to the executive branch, and I would now like for a motion. Oh, Councilmember Rice.
Thank you, Council President. As Chair of the Education and Culture Committee, I just wanted to acknowledge that I've had conversations not only with the county executive, but also with some of the members who are focused on this effort. I will just highlight, and something, Ms. McKenna, that you said that is incredibly important to highlight, is that not only is AI there with life sciences, but it also is there with chip manufacturing. The federal government and the Biden administration just passed the Chips and Science Act, which has a $50 billion investment in terms of making sure that the United States becomes a leader in chip manufacturing. That, of course, is going to mean that there are facilities that need to be built, as well as also when it comes to the infrastructure, the people infrastructure. And AI is certainly having an impact on chip design and chip manufacturing. Wouldn't it be great, not only for us to capitalize on the life science investment, but also on the chips and science manufacturing, understanding that of that $50 billion, $11 billion is solely devoted towards institutes of higher education, and upskilling our individuals. And so there is opportunity for us. I just wanted to share with you that thank you for making that point. It is heard and acknowledged, and I think that there is an opportunity for us to lock into some of those funds. I've had this conversation with the county executive and his executive team and look forward to following up on information that we have. Even though I may be stepping out of my role, this is still something that I care deeply about, and so hopefully we'll be able to make that happen.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Rice. Well said. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Craig Howard, who has a technical amendment that he wants to make sure he shares.
Thank you. As noted in the staff report, between when the executive transmitted the initial supplemental appropriation and the MOU was finalized, they did kind of streamline the name of the institute. And so as a technical amendment, staff recommends changing all instances of the phrase Institute for Intelligent and Immersive Computing for Science and Medicine with the following phrase, UM3-Institute for Health Computing. And on circles 26 and 27 of the revised staff report, it includes the revised resolution, including these technical amendments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will move it with the staff recommendation.
Moved by Councilmember Friedson, seconded by Councilmember Rice. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, please raise your hands. And that is unanimous. Now we can move on to moving the $15 million as amended. Can I get a motion to accept this special appropriation as amended? Oh, Councilmember Navarro, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're about to vote, but I do also want to acknowledge and appreciate all of the folks that came to testify. I think that this particular proposal, albeit, yes, it's quick in a sense, but it's not as if it's something that we have not discussed quite a bit in terms of really finding that last piece of the puzzle as we continue to make sure that Montgomery County is placed on the map with these types of technologies. We have so many different assets throughout the county, and this particular piece, I think, is going to really check the box in so many areas. And I was really pleased to hear the component regarding our diverse workforce. Because, and I do see some members of the Board of Education here, for so many years we have worked diligently to align our workforce development practices and goals to ensure that we are able to capitalize on that extraordinary asset that are our students, which reflect really, truly, not only the country, but the world. And we need to have places like these where they can see in practical terms the opportunities that are in front of them. And so that alignment with the school system, with Montgomery College, that is going to be really key for this particular project. And I hope that this is something that will be placed on top of the list, because there is nothing more exciting than being able to point to the fact that we have grown jobs, and that those jobs are such that our local youth can aspire to and can be here and call Montgomery County home after they graduate. So this is really exciting on so many different levels, and I look forward to supporting it and also monitor how this will have such an impact. The fact that it is going to be located in North Bethesda, I of course would want to have more and more in the mid and east part of the county, but we also know that with the satellite of Montgomery College in East County, there's going to be synergy all throughout that we can capitalize as well. So with that, I just wanted to appreciate everyone who came to testify and look forward to this project becoming a reality. Thank you to the county executive and his administration for all their work as well.
Thank you. Councilmember Friedson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm really pleased, and I'll move this forward to approve it. But before I do, I just want to note the East County is on the way from College Park to this new site, and so that connectivity is very important. And importantly, this will help connect the various efforts that we've undertaken in Shady Grove, the various efforts that we've undertaken in East County with connecting the county to FDA and the other federal research institutions. And this really is another piece in that critical puzzle. And we have talked a lot about how Montgomery County is an undisputed global leader in biohealth sciences. And we have a goal for Montgomery County to be the undisputed global leader in biohealth sciences, and this will help move us in that direction. Ms. McKenna, your comments were very thoughtful and important. and I think we need to be mindful of that. But we also need to make investments. We also need to take risks. We also need to be willing to put ourselves out there and build the type of relationships that we need to build the research triangle that we've always wanted in Maryland. I think Senate President Mike Miller deserves credit for creating the connection between Baltimore and College Park. And that didn't exist before. That was one of his lasting legacies of his late great career. And this finishes that line into a triangle, the most powerful shape that exists. And it's not by chance that this is happening. Lots of choices that have gotten us to this point. The University of Maryland system, the University of Maryland medical system being created, the world-class federal research institutions, the Human Genome Project that we talked about, and the billions and billions of dollars that helped to launch the biohealth and life sciences industry here in Montgomery County that makes us a global destination for the smartest people on the planet. Significant amount of effort in Montgomery College and universities at Shady Grove and in the broader Shady Grove Talent Center that we have. So this is part of that journey. It's not the beginning of that journey. It sure isn't the end of that journey, but it's an important part of that journey. I really appreciate Dr. Varshney and Dr. Gladwin, the vision that you have for this. In many ways, this is a leap of trust in your vision and your commitment to Montgomery County and bringing the University of Maryland Medical System, College Park, and University of Maryland Baltimore together in a way that it hasn't been before, and making sure that we are in many ways the center of the life sciences universe, which I very much think we can and we should be. The last thing that I just wanted to note, and it specifically relates to the diversity aspect. We were talking about the diversity in the workforce, which is important. But one of the unique aspects of this institute is the data that comes from University of Maryland medical system. That data is considered to be the most diverse data, health data, that exists anywhere. And this research and that data is going to be used all over the world because our diversity of our state, the diversity of our county, are what science needs and what can be used and applicable throughout the world. And so I think it's really important to note that when we say diversity is a strength, we mean it. And this is an example of that. And we have work to do to make sure that this is as inclusive as possible, that we make the ancillary investments in the workforce to make sure that everybody has benefits from the research that is going to take place. But make no mistake, the diversity of the county and the diversity of the state is helping to make this possible and helping to make sure that the research that happens here in Montgomery County is on the cutting edge of health research that is happening anywhere in the world. So the last piece is we do need county dollars to be matched eventually with state dollars. We're going to need federal dollars. We're going to need private sector dollars. And so make no mistake as well, we're going to continue to push for that. And I think we can leverage those dollars better by partnering with our higher education institutions and all of the credibility that they have, so that we can partner to get that federal, that state, and that private sector investment that we desperately need and that we want, and that will help to build North Bethesda, Montgomery County, and Maryland on the global stage. So I look forward to putting this forward. I'll move it, and look forward to us seeing the fruits of this labor.
Thank you. We've got a motion and a second, and Councilmember Jawanda wanted to speak as well.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm excited about this as well. You know, a lot has been said in the world about AI and the proper uses of AI, of artificial intelligence, and this is a proper use to assess and improve the health of not only our population, but potentially many, many others across the country and in the world, as has been mentioned. It's the right type of risk to take, and we have great partners. I do want to mention that the workforce development aspect is important, and kind of underline it here. Or as I've been telling my colleagues lately, double tap it in the computing world. You know, this is a workforce in the Racial Equity and Social Justice Statement for this appropriation, and a big nod to Councilmember Navarro on this day. points out that this has the opportunity to really further racial equity and social justice in the long term, but in the short term, it's less clear in that 65% of the workforce for most of these jobs is white. It's an underrepresented workforce in these jobs for Black and Latino and women residents. So we are going to have to work really hard. I saw Dr. McKnight just walk in, and some of our school board members are here. From birth to job, I think that was what Ms. McKenna said, to make sure that we are creating the pipeline and investing in an intentional way to make sure that we diversify this workforce. If it becomes what we want it to become, we need to work hard at that and have that be a big part of our effort. I think we can do that. I think we have a commitment to doing that here. I certainly want to carry that on, and this is a great opportunity both economically for the county, but also to help save and improve lives on the healthcare side. So excited about it and look forward to moving it forward. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, colleagues. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of moving forward this appropriation, please raise your hands. And that is unanimous. Thank you. That moves us on to the next item on the agenda, which is legislative session day number 33, call of bills for final reading. The first is expedited bill 3122, Finance Economic Development Fund, Small Business Grant Innovation Research and Small Business Technology Transfer Matching Grant Program. I'll turn to Ms. Wellens to introduce this subject.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I don't know if this bill, expedited bill 31-22, was introduced at the request of the Fed committee. I don't know if Mr. Reamer wants to make any comments before we get started.
Thank you. Reamer. Thank you so much. Pleased that we're able to take action on this legislation today. This bill is part of our effort to rethink and improve how we administer our grant matching program for companies that receive an SBIR grant from the federal government. And we were just discussing our efforts to partner more with federal labs like NIH. We have a very innovative program here where we provide a matching fund for local companies that get SBIR grants. But the way that we do that needs to be improved, and the resources need to be targeted a little bit better to help companies preparing their applications or to provide the match when it is more valuable than what we had been doing. So this legislation is kind of the finishing touch on a process of rethinking how we have handled that and just reforms that program to strengthen it going forward. And that's what we're doing. So appreciate my committee colleagues for their work on this, and it's a unified recommendation from the council, and has been said it's one of many initiatives around life sciences and biotech that we have embraced at this council. I think at the beginning of this term, you did not see the focus on life sciences in this county. That had really fallen out of focus, and I think we really sought to bring it back and to invest in our strengths and to really double down where we have the most capability. And life sciences, with its partnerships with NIH, with NIST, with FDA, is a central ingredient of our success, and this program is about helping our county economy get the benefit of more startups and more entrepreneurship and innovation, and ultimately jobs and well-being for the community. So glad that we can do it, and turn it back to you, Ms. Wellens, if you need to describe any of the specifics, and to our colleagues. Thank you.
And the two other members of the Fed committee, I'm sure, are going to want to say something about this, since this is a joint lead effort. I saw Councilmember Friedson chime in. Councilmember Juando, I will assume you want to say some comments as well. Councilmember Friedson.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. I think it's we've been talking about how appropriate it is that all of these things are happening today. It just shows that there's a lot of good work happening at the council every day, but this day is a particularly special one for several of our colleagues. But I really do think that we have talked previously, up to this agenda item and now, about how these things just don't just happen. we have to make investments, we have to make commitments, and it is unique for a local government to have a grant matching program like this. Many states do this. Very few, if any, county and municipal governments do this, but Montgomery County does. This program has been successful, but it needed refinements. And particularly, it needed to be fair, and it needed to focus more on earlier stage companies than we had previously focused on. And the changes that we've worked on here will allow us to do that. It's not an accident that Montgomery County is a leader in biohealth sciences, but for a while we focused on it, then we left our focus for a little bit, and over the last several years we've really doubled down that focus again, and I think it's critical that we be intentional about these efforts, and this is just one example. I do want to acknowledge the fact that this was a really collaborative effort between the Fed committee and the executive branch. We worked really closely. I want to acknowledge council staff as well that worked really hard on this. But the key here is that we are going to focus on more companies and on earlier stage companies providing a level of flexibility that was needed and that we previously didn't have. I think it's just another example of our commitment to Montgomery County's global leadership in biohealth sciences and being intentional about our economic development and really focusing on our core strengths. This is a key growth industry for us. We have a real opportunity as we move forward, as global health sciences and life sciences really see hundreds of billions of dollars of investment throughout the world. We want them to happen right here in Montgomery County. We want the brain talent that is attracted to our federal research labs to stay in Montgomery County to start businesses when they leave their federal service, and we want to make sure that as much of the investment that is occurring anywhere is occurring where it belongs here in Montgomery County. So really pleased to have worked together with colleagues on this, pleased for the collaboration between the executive branch and the council, and I'm really excited to see the benefits of the companies that are going to be changing the world and saving lives being helped and aided and improved because of the efforts that we're making here at the council.
Thank you. Councilmember Jawando.
Couldn't agree more with my colleagues. I appreciate our chair in one of his last acts keeping a focus on this throughout the term. It's so important. We often talk about small businesses being the lifeblood of our county. These are literally the life sciences and health sciences small businesses that are part of that life's blood and are so important. And this will give them another, just a little bit. If you know anything about small business, my parents are small business owners, sometimes you need just a little bit of help. And these are folks that have already been pre-vetted. They've been demonstrated that they have a good concept. They're leveraging federal dollars, and we are going to help them get a little bit more so that they can come up with that life-saving technology or some sort of innovation. And then we're going to hopefully help them remember that we help them and they stay here and create jobs here and help people export that technology and science across the world. And I think these were great revisions. It's an important principle that we revisit these programs. If you have a program and it's not working, you got to revisit it and tweak it. And I want to thank the county executive and thank my colleagues. I think this will help continue to have us be at the top of that list of a place where you want to start a company in this really burgeoning industry. So I'm excited to move it forward and appreciate the work of my colleagues. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. Mullins, is there anything you wanted to add?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to add that, the sponsors described the bill thoroughly. I just wanted to add that there is a potential amendment for the council's consideration. It's on page 2 of the staff memorandum, and it stems from OLO's racial equity and social justice analysis of the bill. They noted, as Councilmember Jawando was noting earlier, that the biotech industry is disproportionately a white industry. And, again, just to take a moment, thank you to Councilmember Navarro and her legislation that we have this very thorough RESJ impact statement. It also, as one of the recommendations, it indicated the need for more collection of data with regard to the applicants and the awardees who are receiving this matching grant from the county. So the aim of this potential amendment before you, which I reviewed with OLO, is simply to require that the Director of Finance is reporting annually to the council regarding the demographic data, including the race, ethnicity, and gender of the owners of eligible businesses. And then there's a slight edit here based on my conversations with OLO today. So let me just read out the full amendment for your consideration. It would be that the director must report annually to the council regarding demographic data, including the race, ethnicity, and gender of the owners of eligible businesses, comma, applicants, comma, and awardees under the program. So that would be inserted after line 44 of the bill. Thank you.
And Mr. President, I'd like to move that. Thank you, Ms. Wellens.
Second. Moved by Councilmember Jawando, seconded by Councilmember Friedson. Any discussion? Nope. Councilmember Rice.
So I think it's important to note that while we're going to be recording the demographic data, there's more that's at play here. And I'm so happy that some of our partners from our K through 12 as well as institutes of higher ed are in the room because they play a key role in terms of growing the next set of entrepreneurs. And it is inspiring and instilling in our communities of color the future that is there and the opportunities that are there for individuals in our community. We are the ones who can dispel the myths that folks cannot enter into these fields because of their background or their ethnicity. It is important for us to make sure that individuals see themselves in these career pathways, and really want to thank both Montgomery County Public Schools as well as Montgomery College, who have done great things like the Ignite Hub that will continue to make sure that we're inspiring future generations to see themselves in technology. That is incredibly important, and so we've done some of that work. So while it is important for us to make sure that we're getting that data, it's also important for us to make sure that we're actually doing the work on the ground to change the paradigm that exists. It's one thing to identify a problem, it's another thing to fix it. And I think that the work that we're doing in making sure that our children understand and see themselves in these roles will be instrumental. It is one of the reasons why having Montgomery College in the East County matters so much. I see Jay Rubanda, who's there, who's been a longtime advocate of making sure that that happens, and having the focus on IT. That's what this is. This is about that work. And so we have already done the things that will address some of the disparities that we see in the technology field, but we've got to continue that commitment. And so I know that my colleagues that are returning will certainly double down on those efforts in supporting our institutes of higher ed and K through 12 to make sure that that happens.
Thank you. Well said. So we have a motion and a second on the floor for the amendment. All those in favor, please raise your hands. And that is unanimous. And now, as amended, we need a motion and a second to move to the roll call vote. Moved by Councilmember Reamer, seconded by Councilmember Friedson. And we can now move on to the roll call vote.
Mr. Katz?
Yes.
Mr. Katz votes yes. Mr. Jawando?
Yes.
Mr. Jawando votes yes. Mr. Reamer?
Yes.
Mr. Reamer votes yes. Mr. Hucker?
Yes.
Mr. Hucker votes yes. Ms. Navarro?
Yes.
Ms. Navarro votes yes. Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Rice votes yes. Excuse me. Mr. Friedson?
Yes.
Mr. Friedson votes yes. Mr. Glass?
Yes.
Mr. Glass votes yes. Mr. Albornoz?
Yes.
Mr. Albornoz votes yes.
All right, let the record show that passes unanimously. We now move on to item number B, which is Expedited Bill 2922, Local Laws, Updates to Required Numbers of Council Member Votes. This is fairly straightforward, but Ms. Wellens, anything you want to add?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Very straightforward housekeeping matter to update required numbers of votes throughout the code, accounting for the fact that we're moving from 9 to 11 council members effective in December 5th. Thank you.
All right. So I don't see any questions or comments from colleagues. I need a motion and a second to go to the roll call vote for this. Moved by Council Vice President Glass, seconded by Council Member Katz. We can now move on to the roll call vote.
Katz?
Yes.
Mr. Katz votes yes. Mr. Jawando?
Yes.
Mr. Jawando votes yes. Mr. Reamer?
Yes.
Mr. Reamer votes yes. Mr. Hucker?
Yes.
Mr. Hucker votes yes. Ms. Navarro?
Yes.
Ms. Navarro votes yes. Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Rice votes yes. Mr. Friedson?
Yes.
Mr. Friedson votes yes. Mr. Glass?
Yes.
Mr. Glass votes yes. Mr. Albornoz?
Yes.
Mr. Albornoz votes yes.
All right, let the record show that passes unanimously as well, which takes us to the second to last item on today's agenda, which is a work session in action on a commitment statement to racial equity and social justice from the 19th Council. And we didn't exactly plan today's session, but it is a perfect bookend in so many different ways. And so I am not going to say any other words. I am now going to yield to Councilmember Navarro to make some comments. Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, so 2019 was a very interesting year. It was the second time that I was council president, and we spent the entire year as a body working on the drafting and ultimately the passage of a Racial Equity and Social Justice Act, which already today we have been witness of how important this act has been and will continue to be in our work collectively here in the county between the community and elected officials to address structural issues that have led to so many disparities, persistent disparities. Of course, 2020 came to remind us of why it is so important to have structural fixes in place to do this. The pandemic really truly came to show us all. There was also an incident that happened, and it happened to me, where my accent was mocked by one of our own council employees. And I think that led to all of us taking some time to examine how we also must be diligent in our own internal work here as an institution. And so that led to the involvement of a consulting firm who has led us very ably, and I have to really commend Ms. Michelson for also making sure that this would become a priority for us internally to really address this climate within our own institution. One of the things that came out of a lot of those sessions was the notion that as we close our service here as this particular council and a new one comes in, that it would be a really, I think, important moment to reaffirm our commitment to racial equity and social justice through a statement. And I think this statement is important because it acknowledges that the work is just not external, but it's also internal. And that all the institutions, not just the council, but all the institutions in the county that have something to do with making decisions on behalf of this extraordinarily diverse county should constantly affirm their commitment and do a check-in. It is also, in my opinion, as I've said before, a fiscal responsibility task, because if we don't know how we're doing in terms of addressing all these disparities, then we keep throwing money at it. That is also, I think, works against our fiscal responsibility goals. So I want to thank Ms. Singleton. I believe that also some of my staff worked on drafting the statement. I think it's a robust statement, and I absolutely do support it, and thank all my colleagues for having come through this journey. And I know that it's only going to be strengthened as future councils come and take on this important work as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, and well said. Ms. Singleton?
Good afternoon, President Albornoz, Vice President Glass, council members. The background statement just actually talks about exactly what happened in 2018 and leads through up to today, which is what Councilmember Navarro just shared with us, and so no need, I think, to go through that again. The commitment statement is here for either you, President Albornoz, to read, or for me to read. I can do either.
Ms. Singleton, why don't you read it? You did a fantastic job putting this together, and I want to yield to you. You did an outstanding job, and we're so fortunate to have you on the team.
Thank you. So the Council affirms racial equity as a core value in which race does not affect life outcomes, and social justice as a core value that improves opportunities and outcomes for all people. Since race and ethnicity are the key predictors of the outcomes of Montgomery County residents across all indicators and social systems, the Council aims to achieve racial equity and social justice by dismantling policies, practices, and systems of oppression that have developed and sustained these inequities. The Council acknowledges historical racial inequities and is committed to oversight over the Racial Equity and Social Justice Act and transparent, intentional, and actionable solutions that will address and remedy those inequities and serve all Montgomery County residents. The Montgomery County Council is committed to establishing and advancing an equitable community by striving to ensure that every enacted policy, practice, and system reflects racial equity and social justice.
Amen. All right.
So I'd like to move the statement.
Moved by Councilmember Navarro, seconded by Councilmember Rice. This is going to be the last vote of the 19th Council. Everyone, please raise your hands. Who had already started? All right. We now move on to the final item of today's agenda, which will be the most challenging for me personally, and that is the farewell to our 4 colleagues who are leaving us today. But before I do that, and this is going to be tough because there are some really distinguished people in this audience, but there are several people that I'd like to especially recognize. We are joined by a number of former Montgomery County Council members, and I first want to acknowledge the Honorable Ike Leggett, who is in the audience and our former county executive. And sitting next to him is Catherine Leggett, and thank you so much, Catherine. I want to acknowledge former council members Steve Silverman, Mike Knapp, Gail Ewing, Phil Andrews, George Leventhal, and Cherie Branson. Thank you so much for your service. I also want to acknowledge that Board of Education President Brenda Wolf is in the audience, as well as Vice President Carla Silvestre and Board of Education member Shebra Everins. And Council-elect Lorianne Sales is in the house. Thank you so much for coming, Lorianne. And Councilmember-elect Marilyn Balcombe is here as well. And I see Councilmember-elect Kate Stewart has joined us as well. Thank you so much, Kate. And Phil Andrews, I just heard, is in the house. Thank you so much, Phil, for being here. We also have a number of former staff members to the central office and council whose work is what makes this body move and go. I also want to acknowledge Grace Rivera-Oven, our Board of Education elect member, who is here as well in the audience. Thank you, Gracie, for joining us. What's that? Yes, and Dr. McKnight is in the house. Thank you so much for being here, our superintendent of MCPS. So this room and the audience reflects Montgomery County and the synergy and the importance of all of us working collectively together. And the 4 outstanding members of the council who we are going to recognize this afternoon represent the best of Montgomery County. Collectively, when you add up their number of years of service on the council, but they've had many more years of service in many other ways, 61 years collectively together. 61 years of distinctive service, 61 years of ensuring that our community and residents are seen, 61 years of passing innovative legislation and inclusive legislation, passing budgets through some of the most challenging fiscal times in the history of our county, but all the while never forgetting where any of them came from. And so I especially want to thank their families. Each of us here know that while the role and title of council member means a lot to each one of us, the roles and titles that mean so much more are mom and dad, husband or wife, son or daughter, family and friends. So thank you to the family in the audience for your sacrifice. And for your dedication and love and support of all of us. And of course, I want to acknowledge my parents who are in the audience. Point of privilege. So mom and dad. So what we are going to do this afternoon is, in just a minute, see a video, which is a tribute. And then I and my colleagues will each present, I will present a gift and then turn it over to each of my colleagues to present a proclamation and say some comments and words regarding the outgoing council members, and this will be done in alphabetical order. But let's move to the video.
Councilmember Nancy Navarro was first elected to represent District 4 in a special election in May of 2009, making her the first Latina to serve on the Montgomery County Council.
Being the first one, it's wonderful, but it comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of challenges.
We're going to fight like hell. This is not just about policing our bodies. And if this is just the beginning, God knows what comes next.
That you don't want to be the first and only one. You want to do a good job because you want others like you to then decide to run and then decide to serve.
Nancy was re-elected in 2010, 2014, and 2018, where she has twice served as council president and vice president.
I was president in 2013 and 2019, and in 2013 particularly, it was important because we were still coming out of a recession. So making sure that, my committee would take make the initial decisions that would then lead us to retain our AAA bond rating was always a huge responsibility. And we have retained our AAA bond rating.
Nancy is Venezuelan American. And her love for her heritage illuminates through her outstanding work in the community.
It calls on Congress to propose an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that would grant an individual right to vote.
And Nancy, you're right. The state of Maryland's taking steps to make it easier rather than more difficult for people to vote.
During her career, Nancy has worked hard to improve the lives of Montgomery County residents, and the list of accomplishments is long.
2013 is also when we made our first decision to raise the minimum wage, which was highly controversial.
And as an immigrant woman who actually has worked for minimum wage, this is a very significant moment.
Nancy's lead on important pieces of legislation, earned sick and safe leave.
I kept thinking this morning about how many times did I hear moms secretly sharing that, I give my children Tylenol in the morning so they can go to daycare and at least spend that day because I can't take off that day.
Councilmember Navarro has also been very influential in spearheading major projects that contributed to expanding Wheaton.
An investment of over $436 million in Wheaton. I am proud to represent this district and this community. It started with Wheaton High School, with Edison High School.
What careers are you headed to?
Some of us are going into medicine, becoming nurses.
For some of us, like me, I want to become a veterinarian tech.
So this is really cool. This is very exciting.
Please welcome Council President Nancy Navarro.
Then the library, the new, project, which is a combination library rec center.
So I was driving up Percola and realized that the traffic was backed up. I don't know, it was like 2 miles. I realized, okay, this is great.
I'm excited about Wheaton Community Center. Come on out and check us out. The best community center in Montgomery County.
Then the downtown revitalization project. the Park and Planning building. For me, this is one of those moments where I know that when I'm asked about a legacy project, this building for me represents this. Platinum LEED, the highest designation of a government building. And the plaza itself, the Marion Fryer Plaza. So much more ahead, so much more potential.
While the former Colonel Brooke Lee Middle School was being renovated, Councilmember Nancy Navarro wrote a letter to the MCPS superintendent and school board to have the school renamed because Lee was a known segregationist. The school's name was eventually changed to honor Odessa Shannon instead, a local activist who fought for equal rights.
A state-of-the-art school. And it is 90% children of color. It's wonderful. Also put in the CIP money for an arts and cultural center because Wheaton is an arts and entertainment designated area. So those things have been important. I really do believe that this issue of racial equity and social justice is the social economic imperative of our time.
In 2019, as council president, she spearheaded the successful introduction and adoption of Bill 2719, the Racial Equity and Social Justice Act.
Here in Montgomery County, we're going to do it through legislation because we want to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable. Conversation about racial equity and social justice, I've always said, has to be grounded in prosperity. Right? You know, what are we doing to make sure that we grow in terms of our economy, opportunities and jobs in all parts of the county? It's not just about, you know, putting another initiative or another social program. It's about opening up access to opportunities.
How to approach people of different races and building that greater acceptance within the community.
They're dealing with this racial inequity.
So making sure that young people have access to those internships that are going to position them when those jobs become available.
Investing in the most marginalized community in our county, because we said when the most marginalized people are liberated, then everyone is liberated.
It's about making sure that if we're going to have a redevelopment and bring jobs, that those jobs have those opportunities ready to go for all of the youth and all of the people that perhaps have never had access to those jobs. That's how you create equity that is sustainable and that is structural.
What the county council, and especially under Nancy Navarro's leadership, has really left a legacy for the next group of folks to build on.
Navarro was also co-lead sponsor of the Crown Act, which stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair.
It's really aligned with our work on racial equity and social justice. What does it mean to feel like you can't show up as your full self? So it was a real pleasure to work on this particular act and to have it passed and to be part of this national movement.
Nancy also authored the framework for the county's Early Care and Education Initiative and the Economic Development Platform.
We know that if we don't have access to quality early care and education, our children enter kindergarten not prepared. That education gap, that access to opportunity gap, affects our children of color.
As chair of the Government Operations and Fiscal Policy GO Committee, Nancy successfully championed increases in the council's budget to enhance resources for multicultural communications and outreach. Nancy also advocated for more inclusive critical resources for those in need during the COVID-19 pandemic. Along with Council President Albornoz, she helped create a proficient effort that saved many lives.
To make sure that we have people from the community, people who speak the language, who are from this community, etc., to help make sure that the information is out there, that the support is out there.
Nancy advocated for wellness centers.
It's very faithful to the concept of holistic approaches. It is there, it's in your school. You can feel, you can feel safe, you can feel comfortable accessing that type of support.
Throughout the years, Nancy has been recognized by numerous organizations, publications, and the local community for her leadership and commitment in a variety of public policy areas.
I hope to be remembered as somebody who did not shy away from occupying a very important space. I am a firm believer that women's leadership in all sectors is an absolute necessity. Someone who defies labels and defies stereotypes will absolutely not allow anybody to put me in a little box. It is important for me that they see me as, as someone who led with excellence and with generosity and that led from the heart.
This morning we introduced Bill 620.
He built a career in public service in an effort to make government more responsive for everyone. He is a dedicated community organizer, an environmental advocate, and a problem solver. These are only a few ways to describe Tom Hucker, first elected to the Montgomery County Council in November of 2014.
In general, I like solving problems. My dad was an electrical engineer, and he could walk around the neighborhood and people would have him in their house and he would fix their TV or their refrigerator. I don't have that talent at all, but I know what to do when a constituent calls, and every time I'm able to do that, that provides fulfillment.
And with that passion, he's tackled many issues in the community in the last 8 years.
So it's our responsibility to do everything we can in our state, in our community, to strengthen voting access for all. Everything around here, most of it was laid out 100 years ago, and certainly they never imagined climate change.
Including introducing energy efficiency initiatives to combat climate change.
I've been involved in environmental issues since I was in college.
This historic bill will dedicate 10% of our county energy tax revenues to support the clean energy financing in Montgomery County.
And there's such a range of environmental issues that affect everyone. Data from the testing that was done already in our schools showed that some of the highest poverty schools were found to have some of the highest lead ratings. Fight for funding for new parks like the expansion of Hilladale Park or the restoration of the Maydale Nature Center.
And advocating for the rights of Montgomery County residents to ensure they are being treated fairly.
That our tenants, and there are so many, over 300,000 tenants in Montgomery County, almost a third of our population, too often are facing unsafe living conditions. And I've been able to pass 4 pieces of legislation just in the last few years to allow tenants to break their leases if they're facing persistent health and safety issues like mold.
Anybody who's in an apartment full of mold like this should be relocated.
I was proud to work with the county executive when he was on the county council to pass the renters' rights bill, which establishes the whole schedule of inspection of our apartment buildings, and another one recently to require air conditioning in all of our rental units.
Montgomery County's growing population of 300,000 tenants has no protection against extreme heat.
We need to have air conditioning, and I'm so happy. I just got out of the hospital, but I want to come in and support Mr. Hucker.
But I'm particularly proud of Ezekiel's law, which we passed to require apartment owners to install window bars in any units that have young children.
Each year in the United States, 15 to 20 children under the age of 11 die, and nearly 15,000 are injured because of falls from windows.
Tragically, we've had several toddlers die from or experience serious injuries from falling out of windows, and something as affordable and simple as window bars is going to save lives moving forward.
After a fatal explosion rocked Flower Branch Apartments in Silver Spring due to a gas explosion and fire in 2016, Tom got to work to help those affected by the incident.
I've continued to work with them to pass legislative reforms, including the mercury regulator bill that we passed recently, to make sure that landlords all across the county are informing our housing department about those dangerous regulators that are still in apartment buildings in Montgomery County, so they can be removed and replaced.
Wow.
As chair of the Transportation and Environment Committee, Tom has also done a lot of work to improve public transit.
There are profound and widespread concerns by taxpayers about how this project will impact our neighborhoods, how it will compromise our environment, how it will affect our commutes, and how it will impact our state's finances.
Thank you for your great work, Tom Hucker, representing us in Silver Spring, and I especially want to salute you for what you did in making sure that we didn't get a really bad Beltway expansion plan just rammed down our throats.
There are many reasons Tom will be remembered, but his ability to listen and solve his constituents' problems will be at the forefront of his enduring legacy on the council.
There's nothing more urgent than addressing climate change.
When Lynn Coyner of Coyner Farm, a small urban farm in Silver Spring, called him when faced with rising property tax costs,
I felt that we should get some type of tax break, but I didn't know what was available. And I
wrote to Tom, sent him an email. Immediately he got in touch with me. The next day he was working on it.
Tom put his problem-solving hat on to create legislation that would allow property owners in the county with less than 5 acres to be granted an urban agricultural tax credit.
So all our bill does is it corrects the tax code so that they are taxed as a farm, which would lower their property taxes.
When he saw community members struggling during the longest federal government shutdown from late 2018 to early 2019,
Many of you didn't get paid today. I figured we ought to throw a party.
Tom organized a potluck dinner at Blair High School to alleviate some of their burden.
It's tough. I'm a single parent to 3 kids, so I'm the only income in the house. It's very stressful. I really appreciate him doing this and a lot of the support that Montgomery County in particular has given to the federal workers.
Tom Hucker, thank you for bringing us all together in this moment. God bless you.
Thank you, Chris.
During his 1-year term as council president,
The coronavirus has caused a huge health emergency.
he focused on leading Montgomery County through an effective recovery effort from the pandemic.
I was very proud of how I think I helped bring the council together with the county, with the executive branch that later made us the most vaccinated large county in the nation.
So easy. So awesome.
During the pandemic, he also made it a priority, along with his colleagues, to help small businesses.
We're hosted today by Greg Whelan, who's the owner of McGinty's here. Emma Whelan, his wife.
$20 million in an emergency assistance fund to needy small businesses right at this time when we're trying to keep them open.
It's good to have the surety that our own Montgomery County Council are listening and they know what we're going
We
through.
have a lot of resources out there to make things better for them.
He also saw the need to organize more town halls to communicate all the resources available to residents, from vaccination information to rental and business assistance.
Put together 50 different town halls, and I think those town halls, at a time when the whole county was locked down and people couldn't leave their homes, they provided a lifeline to people.
It's clear that while serving on the county council, Tom has championed many initiatives that have made a big impact.
Great day in Gaithersburg.
But what he will be remembered for is his dedication to merge forces with others to solve the issues at hand.
And all of you in the community and our stakeholders who kept pushing and pushing relentlessly to get us to this day.
I'm proud that we've been able to bring people together in Silver Spring and East County to elevate their concerns and produce real reforms. And I hope that I'm remembered as somebody that could bring people together from opposing sides and multiple sides.
Thank you for fighting as it's my own.
Thank you for saying that.
Of many complicated issues and find common ground and get a number of important things done.
A champion of social justice, economic development, and an environmentalist.
And Mr. Hans Riemer.
Hans Riemer was first elected to the Montgomery County Council in 2010 with the drive to introduce innovative ideas. Having grown up with parents that were engaged community residents, Hans developed a deep faith in the value of public service at a young age.
Did you always think this would be something he would do when he grew up?
Well, he was a pretty wonderful kid, so of course.
That passion for public service led him to find a nonprofit to advocate against the privatization of Social Security in the 1990s, and later work on former President Barack Obama's 2008 campaign as National Youth Vote Director. As chair of the Planning, Housing, and Economic Development Committee,
Imagine it's cleaner there than it is right there, right? But you don't have to tell me.
a member of the Transportation and Environmental Committee, Hans sought to address what he saw as the most urgent issues facing our county, like affordable housing.
First and foremost, really moving the ball forward in a big way on housing. The $100 million production fund, the fund for the Housing Commission will be a legacy, and the accessory dwelling units, the backyard cottages and the basement apartments, that's going to be a legacy. It's going to just keep producing results for decades. I'm really thrilled about that.
Transportation, so Montgomery County residents have an alternative way to get around.
I've been fighting for transit infrastructure, walking and biking infrastructure. I think we've helped shift the culture. I think the culture of the county, as when I first took office, you didn't really say walking and biking. It wasn't really accepted as a transportation choice. And I think today it is enthusiastically embraced in the county. I hope that you feel the way that I do, that in Montgomery County right now there's a sense of progress, a sense of momentum, a sense of responsiveness from the county government to the concerns of bike advocates. We have a very large transit line planned for Route 355 from Germantown all the way to Wheaton, funded with toll revenue. So there's just a lot there.
And climate, so our community has the tools to be more energy efficient.
We have the first station in America to get rid of gas and convert to all electric. Climate advocacy is something I'm really passionate about.
This is amazing. You'll charge up in 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, 100% charge. My car's 100% charged. Good to go.
And it comes through in your planning and your housing and your transportation, and of course in issues like building codes.
We have within our means the ability to decarbonize our transportation sector, to decarbonize our building sector, and to transform our energy grid into 100% clean energy.
Hans has also been a social justice champion working to influence public policy. In 2017, Hans joined a rally for immigrant rights on Capitol Hill where he was arrested.
We want Congress to make DACA permanent, which is the law that allows many children of undocumented families who grew up here, who live in Montgomery County, who go to our schools, who are succeeding, who are trying to go to college and live a good life. If Congress doesn't act, really they are at tremendous risk of deportations. I think it was a meaningful act for me, as the beginning of my council term. My calling into public service is a calling that's first and foremost about social justice.
When I found out about the victims of the lynchings in this county,
and then the mob led him to the place of his hanging.
It really brought it home to me. The history of our own role in upholding a social system of injustice and of racial terrorism is not a history that people learn or that people know.
And that is what has motivated me to be a Democrat, to serve in the nonprofit sector, advocating for reform, to be an elected official, to make progress, to make change.
In 2017, when he was serving as council president, he testified on Capitol Hill against a bill that could preempt the county's sick and paid leave law.
Employees can use the sick leave they have earned to care for or treat an illness or injury. I can tell you that I have met so many people who have needed to use leave after an injury or sudden illness, such as a car crash or the flu, or taking care of a child who broke an arm.
Thank you, Mr. Reamer, for explaining that from your perspective.
Hans has also been a fierce advocate for the expansion of early childhood education.
Let's get all the low-income kids in this program ready to learn when they start kindergarten.
After-school care and youth sports.
I think one of the things that I have really enjoyed is moving the ball forward on youth sports. The funding that we've been able to push into our athletic fields in the county.
We started to realize that we were underinvesting in our athletic field program and that we needed to start expanding what we were doing so that fields that had deteriorated could be replaced.
I'm a coach and I'm having to book a lot of those fields now for our team, and I'm really seeing the impact of it now. It's like, wow, I learned how that system worked, and it's amazing to be able to play on a baseball field that you had a role actually in helping to fund.
His 12 years on the council have taught him that to be a council member is to know what flexibility and adaptability is.
One of the things I learned at some point a number of years ago was you never know what's going to happen in the course of a year at the county council. It kind of reminds me of the phrase that the saying Mike Tyson used to say, that everybody has a plan for when they get in the ring until they get punched in the face. And that's kind of what being a council member is. Like, you've got a plan for what you think you're going to do and what the council's going to do, but the world around us has a different plan. Invariably, involves making changes in what you had thought you were going to do.
That if it was only the five of us, we wouldn't have had a success today. We needed to have a sixth vote, a seventh vote. This is how the legislative process works.
As a result of making changes, and you will get the outcome you're seeking.
Hans hopes that his legacy will live on to bring more growth for Montgomery County residents.
I hope my legacy as a council member is showing a path to being effective, to making a huge impact on issues like housing, climate, transportation, economic development, and seeing how they all fit together in a way that is making the county a better place to live. It's a stronger community. All those issues come together. You got it. You got it.
Whatever he does next,
There you go. There you go.
Hans wants to ensure
Let's talk about how we can work together on this.
he stays in public service.
Well, I want to keep contributing. I don't know. I feel great about my service in the community over the years, and I think it's, I'm sure that my future is bright.
While some may be nostalgic for the Montgomery County of yesterday, my view is that there's never been a better time to live in Montgomery County. Our downtowns are thriving, our labs are humming, our culture is brewing, and our arts are shining. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a new Montgomery County. We are inclusive, metropolitan Montgomery, and we're getting better all the time. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Craig Rice was first elected to the Montgomery County Council in November 2010. At the time, becoming the youngest African American ever to serve on the 9-member council and the second African American man to serve in that role.
It's a lot of pressure. Having a great leader like Ike Leggett come before you also was a lot of pressure. There were a lot of expectations.
We have a new council president, Mr. Craig Rice.
In 2013, Craig's colleagues elected him to serve as president of the council. In 2014 and again in 2018, he was re-elected to a 4-year term.
I had sworn when I first ran for office there were some things that were deliverables that I wanted to make sure happened. Those were a hospital in Germantown. It's one of the main reasons why I ran for office. When Holy Cross Germantown opened up, truly was that full delivery.
Craig has served as a lead sponsor for more than 50 pieces of enacted legislation.
So when it comes to the Montgomery County Food Council, we passed a piece of legislation before the pandemic began.
These are great to put in the rice and the beans and
Nice.
Right?
Great source of protein.
You know, when you look at the ZTAs that allowed for our zoning text amendments, that allowed for Clarksburg to move forward in terms of having a grocery store, when because of planning decisions, that wasn't allowed.
As the District 2 representative on the council, Craig represents the most geographically diverse district and the fastest growing region in Montgomery County.
You know, it's really interesting because a lot of people don't think about Montgomery County as being incredibly diverse from a geographic standpoint. But especially in my district, to go from the foothills of mountains to the agricultural reserve to an outlet mall that's one of the #1 producing outlet malls in the world, all in one district. It truly says a lot and really says something about what Montgomery County tries to be, and that is something for everyone.
You guys have so much power and don't realize how much power you have.
With a deep commitment to education,
Blitz.
Craig has chaired the council's Education and Culture Committee since 2013.
We changed the school system.
Today is Monday, September.
Before, we didn't have a school system that could actually migrate to an online setup. So thank you very much for being here.
In addition, Craig organized a series of education forums throughout the county to discuss public education issues.
And it was just nice that you're so approachable.
As well as the county's budget process as it relates to education.
I think the parents just want to know what is the likelihood of these positions being cut.
Until we know for sure, until that ink is dry on the Budget Reconciliation and Finance Act, you need to keep that foot on the pedal. We also changed our education system in the state of Maryland and here in Montgomery County.
It explains each one, so you've got #1.
Prioritizing, making sure that when it comes to college and career readiness, making sure that we pay our teachers more, working with our youth who need a little bit of extra help. Early care and education from the beginning, that all children have the opportunity to be successful. For some of our littlest ones, to make sure that if they do have learning disabilities or differing abilities, we can identify them early, but also providing them the utmost of care. But it really spoke to why we needed to do more to incorporate our children's voices.
Moira Johnson from Montgomery Blair High School, our winner.
And so having the Council Member for a Day program that we started actually did just that, challenging them to talk about something that was important in their community and then write an essay about it.
About
my experience with my mom's cancer treatment, basically. She's now a survivor of breast cancer.
It really is a shining example of, kids and voices and lifting those up. And then with the Ignite Hub, Apple and the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation and Montgomery College had already partnered together in creating something called Montgomery Can Code. And it was an opportunity for kids to have a 3-week-long program where they learn about coding and create apps. So out of those meetings came the idea of this Ignite Hub.
3.
Ignite! A place where you could bring in kids and take Montgomery Can Code to the next level.
So my app is called Map and Do. We were the first group to be able to do Montgomery Can Code. We decided that we wanted an app that focused on efficiency.
But also not just with our kids. Our community wanted to program as well. And we had businesses that were looking for app development to help them to make their businesses stronger.
Councilmember Rice is also on the Health and Human Services Committee.
As a part of the Health and Human Services Committee when George Leventhal was the chair.
We're at Fenton and Wayne in downtown Silver Spring.
He invited me to come out to these homeless counts.
What's your name, dear?
Folks are experiencing homelessness at different times. The person may be housed today, but it really is a point in time.
Yeah, we can go down first and then come back.
And we were out there, in the woods, under bridges.
Nothing back here.
All over the place, looking for homeless and talking to them.
Do you communicate well in English?
Yes.
Okay.
Knocking on people's car doors, as you saw.
And then mental health. Have you ever had a problem with alcohol or drugs?
No, never.
In fact, right here, steps away from this building.
Let me give you some stuff here. We've got some gloves, some socks, some chapstick, and then we've got
And it was eye-opening.
I don't want that for any one of you.
And he advocated for safety.
It is not okay to kill our kids. It is not okay to kill anyone in this community, and it is not okay to be silent about it.
We had a young man who was killed, Jalen Jones, stabbed multiple times in a horrific murder.
We made a vow today to make some changes on behalf of all the children in this county. Jalen, you did not die in vain.
And creating this walk against violence was incredibly important because we made sure that folks heard and understood that we weren't going to take it any longer. And so it's interesting because after that walk, things calmed down. It's the power of community.
Always striving to do better, leaving a lasting legacy of excellence that his community and family will always remember.
I'd like to say that I made my mom and dad proud. Because they gave me everything to be this person. And it meant a lot to me because there was a lot riding on their investment in me.
And we know what we believe in.
That's right.
And just keep your training right in front of you. Don't let it go.
Thank you, Mommy. And so from that standpoint, that's where the drive comes from. It's that so much that I was given meant that there was so much that I had to give. For my residents who elected me to office, for those people who believed in me, who gave me their last hard-earned dollar to help me to get across that finish line for my campaign, I owed it to them. I owed it to all those people who said, that's a person who looks like me, who's going to represent us.
No, actually, good question.
Who's going to care about us and make sure that we get what we need. And that's what I tried to deliver.
Special thanks to our Public Information Office. That was a beautiful video. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I am going to present a gift to each of our council members. Following the presentation of my gift to them, one of my colleagues will present a proclamation, and then the council member whom they present the proclamation to will be given an opportunity to say some words. So, moment of suspense. I first want to, and this is a new tradition, so the council staff and previous councils have given gifts to outgoing council members, and I had the opportunity for 12 years as a member of the Leggett administration to see firsthand the beautiful ceremony that is, as you know, councils give their appreciation and thanks to outgoing council members. But it always felt like we needed a little bit more. And by the way, I want to acknowledge County Executive Elridge is here. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. County Executive. But it always felt like something was missing. And so I want to thank Maida Bayonet in my office and a gentleman named Ramses Miranda, who is a graphic artist and designed these beautiful pieces on behalf of all of my colleagues and I that I will be presenting to each of my colleagues, just to add a little twist to this really already very special event. And so the first one I will be presenting is to my colleague and friend, Councilmember Hucker. I had the privilege of serving as Councilmember Hucker's vice president, and also with all of my exiting colleagues, had the opportunity to watch them from the other side of the aisle in the executive branch. And Councilmember Hucker always impressed me with his ability to be able to connect with communities in a way that was authentic and meaningful. And I saw that in spades during his term as council president. And each of us have our own respective challenges as council president, and Councilmember Hucker certainly had his fair share. So Councilmember Hucker, I now will present this gift to you. So that's what it is. And there is a quote, and I want to thank your team and all of your teams who helped with finding the quote. And the quote says, "If we continue to challenge old assumptions, we will rebuild a county that is stronger, healthier, more equitable, and more sustainable than ever before." Councilmember Tom Hucker, from 2014 to 2022, has served this county with distinction. Thank you, sir. And now I will turn it over to Council Vice President Glass, who will read the proclamation.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Tom, I appreciate you. And I appreciate you before I ever knew you because of the work that you've done to form Progressive Montgomery. That turned into Progressive Maryland. And throughout your tenure here in our community, your deep commitment to issues is evident for everybody to see. You wear it on your sleeve, and we all appreciate it. And from an outside perspective, if Tom champions your issue, it's a good thing, right? Because if you were opposed to the widening of the Beltway, he was there. If you want to improve the environment and reduce use of pesticides, he's there. If you want to strengthen tenants' rights and protect our most vulnerable, he is there. And if you want to ensure that council operations run smoothly during a pandemic, he is there as council president. And while he is there and everywhere, I know that it sometimes takes a toll on personal families. And Amy and Sam and Will and your dog Luna, I know have missed you throughout the years, but the time that you've been fighting for all of us has been most appreciated. And I also appreciate sometimes seeing you on walks with your family and your dog, given that we live so in close proximity to each other. But you know, while we do know Tom is a proven progressive leader, I know him as my former state delegate, as my district council member, and I think most importantly, my friend. So thank you for your service, Tom. And with that, I will read the proclamation. Whereas Tom Hucker first elected to represent District 5 in the Montgomery County Council in 2014, where he served 2 consecutive terms and was elected by his colleagues to serve as council president for the 2021 term. And whereas he is chair of the council's Transportation and Environment Committee and a member of the council's Public Safety Committee. And whereas, as the T&E chair, Tom led the council on cutting carbon emissions through energy efficiency and clean renewable energy initiatives, including championing legislation to establish a green bank, urban farming credits, and solar panels, expanded transit options for safe and reliable transportation, and fought to secure funding for bus rapid transit on New Hampshire Avenue, the Burtonsville Access Road, the Purple Line, Ride-on Flex, and Ride-on Extra, and more bike lanes in downtown Silver Spring and throughout East County. And whereas Tom has worked tirelessly to strengthen the rights of renters through legislation requiring greater protections for tenants living in unsafe conditions and their ability to terminate a lease without penalty, mandating air conditioning service for rental housing, requiring window guards in all units with small children, and increasing county inspections of rental units. The latter was a 2-year effort following the tragic Flower Branch Apartments explosion that resulted in the inspection of more than 22,000 units, which found more than 31,000 violations and ensured that 96% of them were corrected. And whereas, as council president in 2021, he led the council through the adoption of the Board of Health policies and measures focused on COVID-19 pandemic recovery by boosting opportunities to build a more equitable and prosperous county with a focus on addressing learning loss, mental health, equity in testing, and vaccination outreach, and small business supports following a year plagued by uncertainty. And whereas Tom's entire career has focused on making government more responsive and effective, first as a community organizer and environmental advocate, later as a nonprofit founder and executive, and then as an elected official. In 2006, Tom was elected and re-elected in 2010 to serve in the Montgomery County, the Maryland General Assembly, representing Silver Spring and Tacoma Park, and has since then passed more than 50 bills. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County hereby honors Tom Hucker on this day.
Councilmember Hucker, the floor is yours.
I've given out a lot of those. I've never received one, so I don't really know what to say. Please pardon my cough. Well, geez, thank you so much, Council President Albornoz, for the gift, and Council Vice President Glass for the proclamation. You both have been wonderful colleagues to work with for the last 2 years. You're providing excellent leadership of the council. It hasn't gotten enough recognition because we're getting all the attention today, Gabe, but you've done an amazing job running this council all year under very difficult circumstances, and I know we're going to have another outstanding year under your leadership next year, Evan. The instructions were to provide some brief remarks, so I don't know if I'm going to, I hope I'll meet that test. I'm really proud of the progress that this county has made on many of the issues that I came to the council intending to work on. Transportation, climate, economic development, particularly support for our small businesses, tenant rights, and racial equity and social justice in every form. We've been a really, I think, busy and successful council this term, and we were in the previous council as well. And that progress only happens through teamwork. So I have a lot of people to thank, and in the interest of time, I'll try to do it in buckets. First, I really want to thank all of my colleagues. It's been a great pleasure to serve with each and every one of you. I want you all in the audience to know each of them comes here every day bringing to work their energy, their enthusiasm, their optimism, and their expectations for a better and fairer and more equitable county every single day. And that makes it a really positive, very collaborative place to work, a really special place to work. That is not true everywhere in American government, I think we know. But it is really true here in Montgomery County. and it makes it a really special place, and I'm really grateful to have had the opportunity to work with each of you over the last 4 years and the last 8 years. I've learned from each of you, and I wish you all the best in the future. Second, I want to thank all of our I got to thank the supporters and voters of District 5. It's been really an honor to represent my district and serve the entire county over the last 8 years, and to work with so many talented, committed, opinionated, and expert constituents and advocates on so many issues. It is an incredible learning experience. And it's really humbling to work in such an educated, informed district and county with so many highly effective partners and advocates. And third, I want to thank all our council staff, Marlene and Craig, Jean, Linda, I've seen here, our clerks, especially Judy and Selena, and all of our IT staff. Any quick glance at the county council website will show you how much work this body gets done, and none of it gets done without all of you. And I really appreciated how true that was when I was running the council from my dining room table for a year during COVID. And I want to especially mention Glenn, Orlin, and Keith, and Susan, who provide fantastic support for the committees I'm proud to chair and serve on, and Lee Vu and Ludine and Christine, and all of our analysts, and Chris and his whole team at OLO for the tremendous support that they provide as well. And certainly to Mark, County Executive, and Rich, Debbie, and Dale, and so many partners that are here from the executive branch. Drew, longtime partner in crime, and so many others. You all have been tremendously supportive. I know how deeply you care about the county and all its residents, and it's been a real honor to serve with you as well. And fourth, I want to call out my own staff, particularly Chief of Staff Dave Kuhns, who is here for his outstanding work together with me for the last 8 years that you've seen on the county council, but most of you didn't see 6 years that he spent with me as well in Annapolis. I've been very, very fortunate to have just a consummate, not just a great chief of staff, but a consummate organizer and strategist and friend in that role. So thank you, Dave, for everything you've done to make our office so successful and the county to make so much progress the last 8 years. I also want to mention Genevieve, who we've lost to the central staff, and Julio and Jill Ortman-Faust and Sarah Wolf, who are currently with the staff, and all their predecessors. I greatly appreciate all the work that you've provided to help make our office successful. And finally, I want to thank my family for all the sacrifices that have been mentioned earlier. Serving on this council has been a tremendous honor, and I'm very confident that the next council is going to continue the progress that's happening in all these areas and ensure a thriving and more equitable Montgomery County for all. Thank you all so much.
Feels like Christmas. All right. Next up is Councilmember Nancy Navarro. So this one's personal. They're all personal, but this one especially. Nancy and I met each other 20 years ago at the Starbucks across from the old Toys R Us on Old Georgetown Road, which is now Pike and Rose. And we were introduced by a mutual friend, Lori Kaplan, from the Latin American Youth Center. And at the time, LAYC was experiencing, the Columbia Heights community was experiencing a great deal of gentrification. And so LAYC was opening up their offices in Montgomery and Prince George's. And my job was to establish relationships with decision makers and policy makers and movers and shakers. And Nancy was the first person I met with. And it was an overwhelming experience for me professionally at the time because it was a daunting task. But Nancy helped provide a roadmap for me in a way that was truly extraordinary. And she's been providing that roadmap for the last 20 years, not just to me, but to this entire community and council. Her legacy is truly extraordinary, and it has been an honor and privilege to serve with her, not just these last 4 years on the council, but the 12 years before that in the executive branch. And you will see that legacy anywhere you turn here in Montgomery County. And so with that, I want to present this gift to her, and the quote is, Addressing issues of racial equity and social justice is a moral obligation and a socio-economic imperative. Council Member Navarro. And now presenting the proclamation will be Council Member Katz.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I'm going to try to get through this. Councilmember Jawando and I always tease each other who's going to cry first. The fact that I'm speaking first means I win, so I just want you... Yeah, all right, somebody said they already won. And I do have the honor of reading the proclamation for my friend and mentor, Councilmember Nancy Navarro, but I have to take a moment to thank Tom and Craig and Hans as well for each of them being a great friend and mentors in many ways for me personally. You know, we've all been friends for each other during times when we really needed each other as friends. We came through some very difficult moments, but we showed the world, literally, how we can disagree and do it agreeably. And, you know, I'm going to congratulate Nancy in just a moment by reading this proclamation, because she was a great council president and a great chair of the government operations. And she did it always with a smile and a strong hand. And she knows what this story I'm about to tell, but when I first came to the council, a fellow by the name of Hans Reamer was on government operations with me. You remember the story. And I don't even know what the topic was. It doesn't make any difference what the topic was. But he would say something and I'd disagree. Nancy's sitting in the middle of us. He would say something and I'd disagree. And then I'd say something and he'd disagree. And it went back about 3 different times. And she looked at us and said, all right, that's enough. And we both stopped right then. She proved that she was certainly somebody's mother, and she mothered us that day. But she did it in such a way that we both Hans and I, that we came away with a greater understanding of what we needed to be doing. We cannot mention the words racial equity and social justice in Montgomery County without ending it by saying, and thank you, Councilmember Navarro. I have used the term bittersweet many times in my life, especially during times like this, but it's never been truer than today. Today is a bittersweet moment. I look forward to the next council, but I certainly know that the council that is sitting here today is going to have their footprint in Montgomery County for years to come, just like many people in the audience who are here today. I certainly am truly honored to read this proclamation. Whereas Nancy Navarro was first elected to represent District 4 on the Montgomery County Council in a special election in 2009 and was re-elected for 3 consecutive terms. She is the first Latina immigrant to serve on the council and was elected as council president in 2013 and 2019. And whereas she is the chair of the council's Government Operations and Fiscal Policy Committee and is a member of the council's Education and Cultural Committee, and whereas as Government Operations Chair, she has positioned the county among the nation's best for fiscal responsibility. Year after year, the county is among 50 out of 3,000 in the nation to receive a AAA bond rating from the 3 major credit agencies, and whereas she has led initiatives to promote economic growth and development in Mid-County and East County, including the Wheaton Revitalization Project, and championed the creation of the county's economic development platform, which is a 4-pillar framework that is business-focused and leverages community assets through continued investment. And whereas Nancy sponsored numerous pieces of legislation and led the charge on seminal public policy issues, including the Small Business Assistance Program, legislation on pay equity, minimum wage, earned sick and safe leave, and displaced workers and living wage enforcement. And whereas she authored the framework for the county's early care and education initiative to provide access to high quality, accessible, and affordable early care and education, she co-led Bill 4221, which established the Early Care and Education Coordinating Entity in the county and was instrumental in creating the Montgomery County Children's Opportunity Fund. And whereas Council President in 2019, she spearheaded the successful introduction and adoption of the first in the region Racial Equity and Social Justice Act to advance racial equity in Montgomery County. This law reflects the county's identity and cements Nancy's legacy as a champion of structural reform. And whereas throughout the years, she has successfully championed increases in the county's budget to enhance resources for multicultural communications and outreach. In 2011, she launched the Latino Civic Project, a linguistically and culturally proficient project to strengthen the civic participation of the immigrant community, especially women, in the decision-making process. And whereas in 2011, President Obama appointed Nancy to the President's Commission on Educational Excellence for Hispanics, where she served on the Early Childhood Education Committee. She represented the council as a board member of the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, where in 2021 she was elected to serve as president of the corporate board. And whereas before the council served for 5 years on the Montgomery County Board of Education and served as board president for 2 consecutive years. She also co-founded a nonprofit to assist with the economic and educational development of Latino and immigrant communities. Now therefore it be resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby honors Nancy Navarro, presented this day and signed by Council President Albornoz. I'm honored to call you my chair.
I'll just note, Councilmember-elect Kristen Mink has joined us, and Board of Education member Rebecca Sondrowski has joined us as well. Thank you so much. I will now turn it over to Councilmember Navarro.
Well, I don't do well with these types of ceremonies. So I prepared some remarks so I could be coherent. So they say that the end of a journey is the beginning of another. This has been quite a ride. I feel fulfilled and content knowing that after all these years of dedicated service, we are leaving the county better than we met it. We accomplished a lot despite various historic challenges. I would like to first honor and give thanks to my late mother, Mina, my late father, Pedro, late sister, Aldred, and my abuelita, Fortuna. Of course, my siblings, Nandred and Pedro. They prepared and supported me to follow my personal legend with integrity. My husband, Reginald, and my 2 amazing daughters, Anais and Isabel. They are my greatest treasures. As a woman, I often worried about being able to juggle motherhood and elected office. It was not easy, but our philosophy as a family unit is to always support each other's goals and aspirations. I am blessed beyond measure to have them in my life and grateful for their unconditional love. Throughout the years, the Navarro office included some extraordinary talented professionals. I thank them all for their service to me and to the county residents. But there's special thanks that I owe to Roland Nicola, Berta Cersosimo, Craig Wilson, Mayra Cruz Solis, and Chris for being there with me to conclude this amazing journey. Gracias desde mi corazón. I also want to thank all the great former and current central office analysts, Ms. Michelson and Mr. Craig Howard for their leadership, and the amazing Steve Farber, who taught me so much. I want to thank our council administrative staff, our maintenance staff, our county government staff, first responders, the leadership and staff of our Montgomery County Public Schools, Montgomery College, USG, Park and Planning, our employee unions, our nonprofit partners, and our faith community. Your collective efforts is what makes this county a very special place to live. To my former council colleagues, and that includes now County Executive Mark Elrich and former County Executive Leggett, thank you for helping me become an effective legislator. You set the tone for collaborative work and effective leadership. To my current colleagues, Gabe, Evan, Craig, Andrew, Hans, Sydney, Tom, and Will, thank you. Thank you for stepping up above and beyond the call of duty. We learned a lot under trauma and took advantage of opportunities to build innovative structures and programs to help our constituents for years to come. Those were transformational moments that I will always cherish. Let me welcome the new council. It is a very diverse group, and I am especially excited that from a minority of one, me, we have now a majority of women. Yes. Yes. It is going to be awesome watching you all do great work for our extraordinarily diverse and special county. Finally, I must thank the residents of Montgomery County, especially the former District 4, for entrusting me with the sacred responsibility of leading and serving. It was an honor to serve all of you. I will be leaving, but I'm still here watching and making sure that in any way that I can, the push for meaningful, positive change continues. A la comunidad latina, gracias por su cariño y por su apoyo sin igual. Para mí lo más importante siempre ha sido llevar el nombre de la comunidad latina en alto. Y yo creo que eso lo pude lograr. Pero es solo porque yo sé que esta comunidad continuará contribuyendo y fortaleciendo este condado tan maravilloso. Así que sigan participando y sigan haciendo lo posible por contribuir. Now, on to the next journey. Gracias por todo. Que Dios los bendiga. God bless.
That was beautiful. Next up is Councilmember Craig Rice. So again, point of privilege here as Council President. I felt a special connection to Craig as the Director of the Recreation Department because right away we had a synergy in our commitment to children, youth, and families here in Montgomery County. And he was always an ally and asset as we moved forward positive youth development initiatives in the Leggett administration. And his sage advice while I was campaigning for this office, and his sage advice these last 4 years, and his support in the Health and Human Services Committee has been extraordinary. And the video images of Craig on that cold night in January when we did the homeless count, Council Vice President Glass and Councilmember Friedson and I were there that same night. And I saw in the first person how authentically Craig connects with everyone, regardless of their position in life. And he has led that way. And I got emotional when seeing the images of his parents because, Craig, you have made them proud in every way imaginable. So with that, I want to read this gift. The quote from the gift, which is, "Education is the hub from which all of our problems and successes center around. There is nothing we touch in government that is not linked to education." Councilmember Craig Rice. And reading the proclamation is Councilmember Will Jawando.
I'm just going to look straight ahead. First to Tom, Nancy, and Hans, thank you for your dedication to this county and commitment. You've left this county and state better than you found it. And that's all we can all hope for. And to this 19th council, which will definitely go down in history, having dealt with things that no council prior has ever had to deal with. It's been an honor to serve with all of you. Craig Lamont Rice.
Wow.
My brother, literally from another mother, who's here, and I'm trying to ID her. There you go. Hey, Mom. My friend, my chairman of what I often say is my favorite committee, the Education and Culture Committee, which was historic in its own right, having, for the first time ever, 3 people of color serve on that committee with Nancy Navarro. It's an honor to present this proclamation to you today, which I'll read momentarily. You've been a leader on so many issues, things we care about, our youth and education, the safety of our residents, and time again, you delivered for your constituents. I personally want to thank you for your work to bring Holy Cross Germantown to fruition. It's one of the many examples of you delivering on a promise that you've made. Little did you know that a young William Isaiah Jawando would get to be born there in 2019. Since the Montgomery County Council was created more than 73 years ago in 1949, dozens of residents have served as council members. During that time, only 5 African Americans have served. We'll welcome a 6th here next week, including 3 black men who are all in this room today. One of those terms, the 18th council, you were the only African American serving. That's not easy. It's hard. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of responsibility. To be in a room and represent voices that need to be desperately represented and that need your voice. And Craig, you handled it with class and with grace. You stayed true to who you are, to your life experiences, to your values, and you represented your constituency well. We didn't always agree, but we always spoke with each other honestly, and more often than not, we worked towards consensus, something you did with all your colleagues and with the community. And finally, I want to say to your mom and dad, to Tia and to your amazingly talented daughters, thank you for sharing Craig with us. I know it's been a personal sacrifice for him and for the family, and we're thankful. This county, this state, this nation have benefited greatly from Craig Lamont Rice. So with that, I'll read the proclamation. Whereas, Craig was first elected to represent District 2 on the Montgomery County Council in 2010 and re-elected for 3 consecutive terms, becoming the youngest African American ever to serve on the 9-member council and only the 2nd African American man to serve on this legislative body at the time of his first election. And whereas, he served as the chair of the Education and Culture Committee, was a member of the Health and Human Services Committee, and in 2013 was voted by his colleagues to lead the council as its council president for the 2014 term. And whereas, with a life of service dedicated to education, and as the council's representative to the Maryland Association of Counties, MACO, and Annapolis, he chaired MACO's Education Subcommittee and served on the Maryland Commission on Innovation and Excellence in Education, also known as the Kirwan Commission. He led the Early Care and Education Work Group, which met for 3 years to research and develop the blueprint for Maryland's future for public education. And whereas, he helped prevent deaths from radon exposure by spearheading first-in-the-nation legislation requiring radon testing in the county prior to a house being sold, and strengthened these protections by mandating radon testing in rental units. He has also helped safeguard residents from carbon monoxide exposure by sponsoring a bill requiring carbon monoxide alarms in housing units. And whereas, Craig championed initiatives focusing on our young people by increasing food security for children and their families, promoted efforts to end childhood obesity by mandating healthier meal options, for children at food establishments, provided access to information and technology and coding programs to help close the opportunity gap, and co-led the adoption of landmark legislation to create an early care and education coordinating entity for the county. And whereas, in 2015, Craig launched the Council Member for a Day initiative, which will continue, with the goal of elevating young people's voices and encouraging students to fully engage in the decision-making process. In 2021, he elevated this program by partnering with the school system, Montgomery College, and Apple to provide an educational storytelling experience and inform participants on best methods and the ethics that go into creating engaging, inclusive digital storytelling about public policy issues. And whereas, in addition to his work on behalf of the county at MACO, Craig has served as on the National Association of Counties, NACO, as chair of the HHS committee and co-chaired the National Broadband Task Force to bridge the digital divide. And on a regional level, helped found and chair the Metropolitan Washington of Government's COG Food and Agricultural Regional Member Farm Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that the County Council of Maryland, of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby honors Craig Rice, presented on this day, the 29th of November in the year 2022. Congratulations.
Councilmember Craig Rice.
Well, thank you very much, Council President, and thank you, Councilmember Jawando, for that incredible kind of a synopsis of the years of dedication that I've put to this county, to our community, to bettering the lives of people. I want to start off at the beginning. When I first decided I wanted to run for office, I went home and I told my wife, you know, she had seen me getting involved in local politics. I was part of the Young Dems, and some of the people that were in Young Dems with me were here earlier, including folks like Matt Herman and others. You know, we all thought we were, you know, the stuff back then and, you know, engaged in local politics. And so I told my wife, I was like, I think I'm going to run for office. And she said, okay. And I said, yeah, because, you know, there's stuff that's going on in our community. We had moved to Germantown, and I saw all this stuff that was not there. And I said, we have to do something about this. And she said, okay. And I said, so I think I'm going to quit my job and run for office. And she said, yeah, not okay. But it started there, and I really want to thank two people, Adam Luking and Daphne Bloomberg, because they introduced me to Stephen Goldstein. And in 2005, it was at a restaurant in Germantown that I sat down with Stephen Goldstein and Neil Carter, who's downstairs watching this, and we hatched a plan to make a difference in the community. And it was a ragtag group of folks who came together, and I really want to thank County Executive Leggett, who stepped up, because there weren't a lot of people who believed that I could actually win. Terry Learman was one as well, who helped to support me when I ran for state delegate in 2006 and won that race by 166 votes. No one thought that I was going to win that race. My mother was at the Board of Elections, because you have to have a poll watcher as they count votes coming in, and now we know this all too well. Back then you didn't have races that were that close. It was either you won and you knew on election day you won, or you lost. And it extended for 2 weeks. Every single day my mother was there, making sure that her son had every single vote counted. And I won that race. And people were shocked. But they were also happily surprised, because they knew that this young guy who thought that he was all that was actually going to do something, because that's what I really wanted and set out to do from the very beginning. And there were lots of sacrifices that were made as a result. And I really have to thank my wife and my kids because they have given so much to allow for me to make our community a better place. And while, you know, your spouse certainly understands the issues and understands the sacrifices of marriage and marrying a person who then goes on to politics, and they get it, I really have to thank my daughters because they were born into this and they knew nothing but. And the sacrifices that they gave in terms of some birthdays where Dad was only there for an hour or so because then he had to go to a community function, or sometimes where I was sitting on the house floor in Annapolis singing happy birthday on my daughter's second birthday, were things that I'll never be able to give back. But what I hope I gave, and Caitlin, I hope you're listening, what I hope that you understand I gave is a better future for you and kids like you. That's what the dedication and the sacrifice was about, making sure that I provided a better opportunity for everyone in our community. And everybody that I've worked with across the board, and of course my colleagues are the start of this, and it started with the previous council and Councilmember Leventhal and Councilmember Andrews and Councilmember Knapp, who was preceded before me. They all got it in terms of what it is that we needed to do. Our current county executive, the funny thing is that people always joke with me and they say, Craig, you and Mark are like totally opposite. How do you guys get along? And I said, well, because at the end of the day, we both want the same thing. We want the best for our community. And while we may differ on ways to get there, the reality is that at the end of the day, we want what's best for our community. That's always been the case. And having great leaders like County Executive Leggett, who spent time talking to me about that and making sure that I understood, having an opportunity to talk to the president, our former president of the United States, Barack Obama, who I ran into the other day at a golf course that shall be unnamed. And I told him, I said, I remember when I came to the White House and you told me, you don't get in political office to be somebody. You get in office to do something. And I've always thought that because my parents made sacrifices for me, and now I needed to make sure that I made sacrifices for my family. And those sacrifices were being here on this council and making sure that I represented District 2 to the best of my ability. I want to thank Mike Knapp. Mike, where are you? Did he leave? Okay. He had to step out. Let me tell you something. Just a funny story, and I'm going to be quiet. Mike Knapp, when I ran for county council, Mike said, hey, Craig, I know you're about to run for re-election, but I think you should run for District 2 council. It's a true story. And I said, Mike, I'm fine. I'm very happy. I'm going to win re-election. I won by 162 votes. I'm good. And I said, I'm going to win re-election. He said, Craig, I'm going to tell you this will be the most fulfilling job you ever have. You'll love this so much more than being in the House of Delegates. And I said, well, Mike, let me tell you a little story. The last time I ran for office, I told my wife, and it really didn't go over well. So this time I want you to meet with her. And you're going to tell her that I'm going to run for the council. It's a true story. And so Mike had lunch with my wife, and I was texting Mike the whole time, how's it going? How's it going? And I never got a response. And I was like, oh, damn, this is not good. And when he finally called me after the lunch, and I said, so? And he said, yeah, just talk to her. And I said, what does that mean? He said, just talk to her. And, my wife said, look, I know what it is that you're trying to do, and I support it, and I think that you'll do great. And that's always stuck with me in terms of having that support structure and knowing and believing in me that I would do great. And if it weren't for my staff, my Chief of Staff, Stephen Goldstein, and Mary is here. Mary, I want to thank you. Your husband gave me everything. To his last dying day, he gave me everything. He loved, yes. To Sharon Ledner, my Chief of Staff, to Rose Taylor, one of my senior legislative aides, Daniela Moya-Gaber, who's watching at home, another one of my senior legislative aides, to my Deputy Chief of Staff, Kristen Tribble, to someone who got stolen from my office. I'm still not over it, Marlene, Nicole Rodriguez-Hernandez, thank you. I was one of the unique folks who actually had my staff throughout my entire tenure. Was very unique because we were a family. And this council is also my family. And even though I'm saying goodbye now to my family, I'm still coming for Thanksgiving dinner. You will see me again. And so I bid all of you adieu and farewell, but I promise there are great things still ahead. I am looking forward to continuing to make sure that Montgomery County is one of the best places to live, work, and play. And I thank each and every one of you for the opportunity and the influence that you've had over me and impacting me so that I could be a great leader. Thank you, and God bless.
That was beautiful. So last but not least is Councilmember Hans Remer. And again, point of privilege, just the first time I met Hans was at Mi Rancho. We were introduced by a mutual friend, David Fogel, and he was running for council at the time. And I remember David just said, he's bringing a fresh energy, a fresh perspective. I think you're really going to enjoy meeting him. And he was right. I realized right away that Hans was going to bring something to that and every other subsequent council he has been on that is truly unique and something that we all feel every day. Nobody puts in more homework or hours than Hans, and it shows in all that he does. He is always present for every one of us, and his ability to connect our public, private, and nonprofit sectors are among the many reasons he was as effective as he was these last 12 years. I think he might be a little past halftime of his professional career, as all of my colleagues who are outgoing are as well, but I continue to expect big things from Hans because he has a lot of really terrific ideas that he wants to get over the goal line, and it's been a privilege serving with him on this body. So, and I also want to say, as a dad, each one of you who have children on the dais, you've all given me personal advice that has been really meaningful. And when Craig talked about his daughters, that really hit close to home. Because we do all make sacrifices, and we do miss games, and we do sometimes miss birthday parties. We try not to miss anniversaries, but we miss a lot of other things. And it's because we love this community and we want to serve it well. So with that, I'm going to read this gift, and the quote says, "To make Montgomery County a dynamic community where all generations can thrive, we need bold solutions on housing and transportation, workforce, and economic competitiveness." Councilmember Hans Remer. Mm-hmm. And delivering the proclamation is Councilmember Friedson.
Thank you, Council President. First off, I do want to acknowledge the other three colleagues, Nancy, Craig, and Tom. I will note I knew Craig and Tom pretty well before joining the council, and that friendship has grown as colleagues, as former members of the House of Delegates. And I'll also note that I was in Daphne Bloomberg's driveway for that first run for the House Delegates, which is when I met Craig Rice. And I will say maybe it was because I was a naive 20-year-old but I was one of the people who thought you were going to win. So I might have been the only one, but I did think you were going to win. And Nancy, I probably knew the least entering the council, but who I probably leaned on the most as a colleague. All of you have become cherished friends and terrific colleagues. I know that our friendship will live on, just as I know your legacies will live on. So thank you for everything that you've done for me and more importantly for the county. And Hans. So Hans, I knew Hans also for quite some time before joining the council. There was a cool picture of him with the beard and the untucked button-down shirt. That's the Hans I met and remember when he was the youth vote director for the Obama campaign when we first met, and then he went on to AARP, and I went down to his office to talk to him about politics and about what he was interested in doing, and he told me that he was going to be running potentially for the county council, and we stayed in touch, and he explained to me that he was the senior advisor for AARP, and I looked at him and I looked around at everybody else at AARP. I said, "You're the senior advisor at AARP? You're the only person here who's young, who's almost as young as I am." But at any rate, I appreciate that and everything that Hans has dedicated himself to on this council and in public service, and frankly, before joining in public service, I will agree with your mother that you are a great kid. But I've really admired most your willingness to be bold, to do controversial things, to lean into the power of yes, not why we can't do something, why we shouldn't do something, why we haven't done anything, but why we should. And why we could, and how we could, and moved it forward. And sometimes that can be an ugly process, and sometimes it can be challenging, and I have several town hall meetings that will prove that, some of which Hans joined me for. But the county is going to be a dramatically better place because of your willingness to do that. And there are few people who have been more willing to take on third rails, who have been willing to dig into complicated and complex and really hot button issues that Hans Dreamer has. And as a result, we are going to have a much more sustainable, much more equitable Montgomery County. And that's true when it comes to housing. And we have done tremendous things over the last 4 years. You had done even more before we got here, but the progress that we've made on housing in so many ways is due to your vision. The efforts that we've done when it comes to transit-oriented development and really turning what are holes in communities in the most strategic locations at Metro into hubs for people at parking lots. The vision that you had of turning parking lots into parks and making sure that we have vibrant communities throughout the county. The efforts that we heard about earlier with athletic fields and ball fields and the progress that we've made there, not just in certain parts of the county, but in all of the county has been really tremendous. And the efforts that you've taken to test out those ball fields as a dad and as a coach, which I really appreciate. And when it comes to economic development, we talked a lot today about the work that you have done on biohealth and really driving Montgomery County's global leadership in biohealth, and we'll continue to see the dividends of that commitment and those efforts, but also on breweries, on the nighttime economy, on farm alcohol production, the type of vibrant businesses and communities and placemaking locations that we are going to soon take for granted. I will remember, and I think everybody here will remember, that it is due in so many ways because of the leadership that you have shown, and the progress that we have made in Montgomery County is in no small part to your willingness to take on those tough and thorny issues, be willing to take some arrows along the way, and stick up for what you knew was the right thing to do, the just thing to do, and the powerful thing to do. And the last thing that I'll say before reading the proclamation, I have really admired your depth of interest in the racial history of the county, and with the Remembrance and Reconciliation Commission as one piece of that, but a critical piece of that, not lost on you and not lost on me or any of us, that we walk into this building every day a place where one of the 3 documented lynchings took place, and the work that you did and have done to make sure that we don't forget about that history, that our young people don't forget about that history, that we continue to move those efforts forward is something that I know will build on Nancy's legacy with racial equity and social justice, and make sure that we understand how we got here by really knowing where we came from. And that's critical in Montgomery County, just like it is everywhere else. So, my friend, I am proud to know you, to call you a friend, to have been on this body with you, working on so many critical issues, and to make sure that we move forward in a way that is positive and that has progressive change for Montgomery County. And I'm just grateful to have been a small part of your really impactful career. So I've got a proclamation here to close us out. The County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland. Whereas Hans Riemer was first elected as an at-large member of the Montgomery County Council in 2010 and served 3 consecutive terms, including a year as council president in 2018. And whereas he served as the chair of the council's Planning, Housing, and Economic Development Committee and as a member of the Transportation and Environment Committee. And whereas as the Fed Committee Chair, Hans led the Council through initiatives to expand affordable housing, including the spearheading of Zoning Text Amendment 1901, which removed the obstacles to lower-cost housing for homeowners who want to build accessory dwelling units, which provides more housing options for more residents with lower incomes, younger residents just starting their careers, or families with older members who wish to age in place. And whereas Hans also led the efforts to revise and adopt the Thrive Montgomery 2050 Plan, which is a vision document that updated the county's 1964 general plan. Thrive 2050 will guide the policy decisions related to planning, land use, and growth for the next 30 years. And whereas he sponsored legislation to raise the earned income tax credit through the Working Families Income Supplement Program, which restored Montgomery County's 100% match to Maryland's earned income tax credit, which has helped countless residents by reducing the taxes families pay and increasing their incomes. And whereas Hans moved Montgomery County forward into a new age of wireless technology by working diligently to find ways to bring 5G to county residents to help bridge the digital divide and provide more equitable access to the internet at faster speeds and with greater capacity. And whereas he spearheaded many efforts to boost youth sports in the county, including a special appropriation to expand leagues for the sports that are most popular with girls in Montgomery County, such as volleyball, lacrosse, softball, and soccer. And whereas Hans has a long history of fighting for social justice, and as council president has testified on Capitol Hill against a bill that would preempt the county's sick and safe leave policy. And whereas before serving on the council, Hans served as the National Youth Vote Director for Obama for America and as the political director for Rock the Vote, where he helped register nearly 1 million voters. Hans has also served as senior advisor of AARP and was a national leader on protecting Social Security from efforts to privatize the program. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby honors my friend and our colleague, Hans Riemer, presented on this 29th day of November in the year 2022. Congratulations, my friend.
Everyone else did it.
Got it from the corner.
Take a straight shot.
All right, Councilmember Riemer.
All right. Well, wow. It has been such a joy and such a privilege. I'm so thankful for the past 12 years. It's hard to really, have it all sink in that, this chapter is closing, but today was a special day. And if you want to know why I love this job, it all happened here. It's all happening here today. We passed at this dais here funding for an incredible new development in downtown Bethesda that is going to improve the quality of life for that area. That's part of a bold, smart growth vision for the county's future. We passed groundbreaking legislation on climate and building electrification.
We appointed a new member to the Policing Advisory Commission. We passed an appropriation to ensure that we have the right bus rapid transit system for the East County in the future. We passed legislation to enhance our small business, the grant program that technology and life sciences companies often grab to get their businesses going based on SBIR matches. These are all things that I had a real role in, and to be able to participate in that way is so fulfilling, and it has motivated me every day. And you know, those are the kinds of things that just really make a difference. They're across a whole range of issues. They're exciting. They're fun. But it's also the people who are part of this process, and I have loved working with everyone. There are so many people in this room right now, and I'm looking across this incredible group, and almost everyone in this room, I can think of something very specific that we did together that wouldn't happen but for our collaboration together. And that's what you get to do as a council member. You get the chance to provide that support and that role and that innovation, that impact, and it's just an amazing, amazing privilege, and I've just been so thankful to have had the chance to do it. The council staff is the secret ingredient for the county council, and you have kept this ship guided and away from the icebergs for generations, and I really have been I've benefited so much from all of the guidance, the mentorship, and the insightful analysis. The executive branch, County Executive Elrich is here, former County Executive Leggett is here. The incredible teams, they are the best colleagues you could ever ask for. They're insightful, they're collaborative. Occasionally, when the job calls for it, they're a friendly rival, but it's always toward the same goal, and it's just an incredible team to be part of. And the community leaders, we have many here today, but the thing I've always loved about being a council member is just the chance to gather brilliant ideas from the community and figure out how to put them into action. And it's just an incredible role. Our county is full of so many brilliant people who have so much to contribute, and as a council member, we're the conduit for the change that this community can create. And again, what a privilege to be able to play that role. My two boys are here. My wife's in New York today. Job required her to be there, but I was chuckling when there was a video of my two kids, and my youngest was a toddler. My son Travis was born about a month after I was sworn into office, and he's now in middle school. My son Henry's in high school. I'm sort of reminded, at the beginning of this term, I did a panel with George Leventhal, who, I'm glad you're here today, George, and he came up, we were chatting afterwards, and he said something to me to the effect of, like, Hans, when you've kind of grown up. You've, when you first joined this council, you were kind of a kid, and now you're kind of a man. I'll say kind. And I really appreciated that, and coming from George especially. And as I looked over at the videos and stuff, I was wearing that. Oh gosh! But anyway. It's been a fun place to be for 12 years. I can't even imagine. It's really a long time. But thank you to everyone in here. Thank you to my colleagues. If I were to give 9 distinct remarks about each of you and our work together, it would be a challenge to do that in a way that wouldn't leave somebody not happy. But so I'll be the politician maybe for one of the few times. I'm not always the best politician, but I won't try. But it's been an honor to be part of this team. And finally, to my personal staff, or the staff in my office, I should say, I'm going to miss not talking to you daily. It's just been like this incredible dynamic. It's been fun. We've done so much together, and that's probably going to be the hardest part in some respects. But thank you for all of your contributions. There's many of you over the past 12 years, but I really have benefited so much from your hard work. So thank you. It's been awesome. I've loved it, and I'm just, again, so glad to have been a part of it. Thank you.
So not surprisingly, we are running behind, but this was obviously really important. I now want to give the floor to County Executive Mark Elrich to say some words to our outgoing colleagues. And Mark, I know this is hard, but if you could try to be brief so we can get to, there's a reception. But I know there's a lot you have to say, so, and we appreciate you, my friend.
So actually, I don't have a lot to say because you all said it.
I love it.
It made it impossible for me to go too long. And I asked Ike to come up here too because
yes, please.
We both, shared working with most members of this council, and so I think it's fitting that you be part of this as well. A couple of things I want to say. First, I want to acknowledge what Craig said about working together. It is a lot easier to work together, but at least you agree on where you're trying to get to. There are different ways to get there, but if you at least start by acknowledging we're trying to get to the same place, that discussion is a lot easier to have than the discussion where you don't even agree where you're going. And so to the extent we have those discussions, I think it's been really fruitful. The second thing I want to acknowledge about everybody is that your job is probably the job that touches more people's lives more directly than any other elected officials. So I served below this. I was a city council member. We never did the breadth of things that affect people that you do. And you look at what congressmen and senators do. They don't touch everyday life. They don't touch whether your trash is picked up, whether libraries are open, whether we provide services to people who need. You do. So you are probably the most essential elected officials in government. And you mean the most to people, and it's probably why we get lots of town hall meetings, lots of comments from people, because we do touch them, and people who are affected are going to have something good or bad to say about how they feel they're affected. So I just want to acknowledge the work you do. I was thinking about, because I cannot recite everything you did, and I'm not going to try to repeat what you all just did, but I do want to say that, we came into this and we started off on racial equity. One of the first decisions we made, which was a hangover from the council, and I want to thank my council colleagues then for passing the requirement that the next council had to do this, because I think we were all worried the next council might not do it if we didn't require it. And so that was a good thing to do, that we did that. And then there was the pandemic, and we held together and took some really difficult stands. And we all took a battering at times because of the things that we did. But we did the right thing. I look back on this, and I have no doubt that we did the right thing. And I hope none of you have any qualms about what you did, because what we collectively did led to one of the lowest death rates in the country and one of the healthiest, most protected populations in the country. And you all ought to be proud of that, because not everybody could say that. And I know from somebody who worked with people in purple counties that our ability to be confident and our ability to act was really critical to what I think we were able to collectively accomplish. Other things that stand out in my mind, there's the housing stuff. I disagree with some of it, don't disagree with all of it, but we've definitely made steps forward in the right direction on that. We did some important labor legislation. Most of you are around for minimum wage. That was not a small decision to raise the minimum wage. And Sydney, I especially appreciate your help, because you were oddly enough the swing vote. And Craig was talking about odd partners. You and I have been very odd partners over the years. But I really appreciated that, and I think that was really important. But I think that the council supported that. We were able to get that done. The climate change, from passing the bill where we had no idea how we were going to do it, but we set targets that forced us to have to think about it every day. And today, passing a bill, which I probably would have done a little bit differently, but basically hits the target on electrification. And I'm really happy with that. I mean, I think, again, we've moved the needle way forward, and you were, you're stuck with it. And again, I know that wasn't an easy vote, but I think everybody at the end of the day has realized that fighting climate change is fighting climate change. And you all knew what you needed to do, and so I appreciate it. That was really, really important. And today, funding the Institute for Health Computing. I know you heard from the University of Maryland what they think. They've been very blunt that they view this as game-changing, and it will be significant for Montgomery County. It will open doors to jobs and to businesses to come here, not just in health tech, but in AI itself. And and that a lot of people don't realize, but even Marriott and the hospitality industry reached out to us, the first University of Maryland said, we want to work with you with your AI, because they thought it was important for them. So we hit on a number of different cylinders, and you kind of culminated your term. I'm so happy that those things, if it's the last day of your term, everybody who walks out of here knows this is something you all accomplished. You sat through the work sessions, you did everything that needed to be done, and you finished it off today. So I want you to know how much I appreciate that, and how much a difference I know you've made in Montgomery County. Montgomery County is definitely a better place for the work you've done. I know most residents, when we look at satisfaction in the county, and we do these surveys every 2 years, and 73% of the people think you're on the right path. That's not 73% of the people think I'm on the right path. They think we're on the right path. And that's a collective tribute to the work that everybody does together. So I just want to thank you for that and acknowledge it. When I think, Ike, do you want to say something?
Mark remarked that serving on the council provides you with the most direct link to people here in the county. That is true. And I like serving on the county council. But let me remind you, I love being county executive. Let me acknowledge and thank all of you, all 9, and especially those who are departing. This is a wonderful county, and collectively, all of us help to make it great. Let me remind you of one thing in terms of my role here as county executive, which I'm forever thankful for the county council. Not only the 4 that are departing, but people like George Leventhal and many others. We had a tough decision to make. And I made a decision one night about 11:30 or 11:45 late at night about the Purple Line. And the decision that I made was contrary to what we had collectively agreed upon in our discussions on the county council. So I felt that that decision would be a decision which I had to make at that time that implicated Prince George's County in a way that they did not want to be implicated. It cost us to pay more money than we would have to pay. And I made a decision at that point in time with the governor right there who wanted to have a press conference the next day to make that announcement. I felt confident in knowing my colleagues and knowing everybody who had worked with them, knowing how George Leventhal and so many others had worked so hard for, that I was going to make that decision without even having checked with the county council and informed them after the fact because it was so late at night. That's the kind of leadership that we had in working together. And because they were so committed to this county, so committed to an important issue, we were able to pull that through. That only goes because we had worked collectively, and I knew the county council members and what I thought they would ultimately do. Our collective hats are off to all of them for all that they've done, and that is just one decision among many others. The work that you guys did during the pandemic was extraordinary. The leadership of the county executive, extraordinary. But it comes as a result of people who are committed to this county and the true values that we stand for. So congratulations to you all, and I hope that we will see a continued effort that the new council members that are coming in to continue this legacy of leadership.
So I have these certificates, and I thought if the four of you would come up here,
Yeah.
I would hand them to you. I'm not going to read each one of them. I thought I did pretty good at being short.
Are we all
Are
going?
you going to, I guess, are you going to Judy Duncan?
Well, that was beautiful. So there's a long-standing tradition that after the council adjourns, the final session of this particular council, the staff stay and present their own gifts to departing council members. And so while I will officially adjourn our public meeting today, and there is a reception downstairs in the cafeteria, which all of you are welcome to attend, after we adjourn, I ask that my colleagues stay because the staff will present their gifts and presentations to our outgoing council members. Again, you're more than welcome to stay, or you can go downstairs to the reception in the cafeteria. So with that, it is my honor and privilege to say that we adjourn the 19th Council of Montgomery County, Maryland.